Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome as today we watch Team Rampage take on Team Dallas Fried, our first map being Oasis. We're going to see probably a dive comp coming out of the Rampage here, as that's something we're very familiar with, especially on these control maps. On this Team v Team best of 3 series, we will usually see a dive comp come from the Rampage, and while they may swap with this little bit of time left, I most likely think they're going to stick with this comp. Malarat on the Brigida, Derpy and Baguette leading the charge with those tanks. Sarkweek on the Echo is just something we're very familiar with at this point. Mui running the Tracer just to keep up with his team, and Taijidu on the Ana, where we know Taijidu is very comfortable. The Dallas Fried being a new team to scrim against. I'm not completely familiar with their team comps, but it looks like they're going to be running Orion Diva, something that was very popular in the early days of Overwatch, and it is popular again now with the current meta change and the booster change coming from the Diva. She can move a lot faster, she can do a lot more damage, and the Reinhardt being able to be where he needs to be, the Diva can constantly be there to support him. The Dallas Fried already on the point. It looks like they're going to be holding the high ground. The Doomfist and the McCree. Sarkweek falling very early to the Lucio on the side of the Dallas Fried, which is going to force an immediate reset from the Rampage, which basically means a guaranteed cap for the Dallas Fried here. The monkey dances around the side there, but we can see the Dallas Fried have a lot of high ground advantage. While the Reinhardt and the Doomfist can't do much, that Doomfist can still play the top window and get what needs to be done. It looks like the tanks will be diving in pretty early on. Wavy falling to Mui, but Malarat falling immediately after. Things not looking great here. 2 falling on the side. Oh, it might be 3. Mui dropping down to 1 health. Oh, Mui will not be able to make it out of there, being taken down by Communix, the Reinhardt on the side of the Dallas Fried. Communix taking out Derpy as well. The Rampage fought a good fight, but they will be eliminated here and will have to move back as the DMAC finally comes through onto Baguette. Sarkweek will not be able to do enough, but will be clipped. His wings will be clipped, and the bird will fall from the sky as Anarchy lands a headshot on him. Baguette finally falls, a slight stagger coming from the Dallas Fried. We move forward, kind of expecting the Rampage to start busting out a couple of ultimates. It's pretty close in the ult charge here. We might even see some swaps, possibly onto a Zarya Rein, just to put a little bit more face damage in. The Doom from Dallas Fried just simply waiting, trying to get everything that he can get out of this value, out of playing Doomfist, as it's incredibly risky. Taijidu lands 1 sleep dart, and that Doom becomes immediately worthless. He looks like he's going to get pressured here and will fall to Sarkweek, putting the Rampage in a good spot to push forward here. If they can dive onto the high ground, they're going to be in a much better spot. Mui trying to farm this pulse bomb. It looks like they don't even know that he's there. The Dallas Fried so focused on the enemy team above that Mui gets a free kill. It might even look like 2 kills here. He will be moving out, even though he is at full health. He moves further onto the point. The Rampage have flipped the point in their favor. The Dallas Fried did not move fast enough. A very early shatter coming from Communix. Sarkweek will be stunned, but will he be able to make it out alive? Sarkweek does end up falling to the bomb coming from Fancy 2. The bomb eliminating both of them. The stick from Mui, however, does take Communix out. A high noon quick to follow from Anarchy. It's still a very, very tight-knit, very close match here. Derpy on the point, trying to confirm any more kills that he can, just ticking away as much percentage as possible. He drops down to less than 50 health and will fall to the Doomfist from the Dallas Fried. It looks like they will be able, in a very unnecessary beat coming from the Lucio, it looks like Baguette will be pushed off the map and will have to move forward here. It looks like Dallas Fried has been able to flip this point back in their favor. Things looking pretty good for them at this point. But the Rampage are still just ever so slightly in the lead. The Doomfist does almost kill himself from the Dallas Fried, but does make it back onto the point. Ultimates coming from the Rampage. The Dallas Fried's Doomfist looking for just an absolute cheeky kill. 2 ultimates from both teams ready, almost, or excuse me, 3 on the side of the Rampage, nearly 4. They are slightly ahead in this ult advantage, but are slightly behind in percent advantage. Derpy does drum. He lands the Rampage, or excuse me, he lands the Primal Rage onto the Diva. Taijidu has already fallen to the Doomfist, but both teams missing 1 hero is looking really good. If you can knock this Lucio off. Now it looks like the Lucio was able to wall ride out of there. The Doomfist using the Meteor Strike, confirming 0 kills. Sarkweek now onto the Diva. The bomb is out and will connect with none. He will swap back into the Echo, excuse me. Baguette gets demaxed, has the ultimate, and is immediately eliminated by Communix. The Rampage just ticking away as much percent as possible. While the Dallas Fried have been able to win so many fights time and time again, they just simply give up the point every single time, allowing an already 50% for the Rampage, essentially for free, because they won't touch the point at all. Sarkweek and Mui here looking to clean up this final kill on the Lucio, but he will be able to make it out alive. It looks like things are going to be fine, and it looks like the Rampage are going to be able to hold the point just a little bit longer. The Dallas Fried are now falling behind, and the ult advantage in the favor of the Rampage. They're looking to sit pretty here, and things are not going to look good for the Dallas Fried, pushing forward into this with 3 ultimates, nearly 4 coming from the Rampage. It's going to be very difficult. The Doomfist falls low, but will be able to get that Mega Health Tech. He jumps immediately in, putting pressure on Derpy, but a double kill from Mui with the Pulse Bomb makes it absolutely impossible for them to win this fight. Excuse me, a triple. Mui on an absolute rampage of his own. He will end up falling, but that will not matter as he has eliminated the majority of the team on his own with a pulse bomb and a couple of well-placed headshots. Baguette holds that high ground. Fancy 2 caught out of place. No longer has the mech, no longer has what he needs. The nano boost does come through onto the Doomfist, but it's not going to be enough to clear this up as the rally comes out from Malorad to counter this. If Malorad is not taken out of this fight, this ult to Doomfist is not going to do enough. Taijinu immediately eliminated with the high noon coming from Sarkweek as well. Both the ultimates, only one left from Dallas Pride and one left from the Rampage. 2, 3 have their ultimates, but only one of them is alive. Derpy does fall before he gets to pop up the Primal Rage. The Rampage are now into overtime, and it looks like the Dallas Pride will be able to flip this map into their favor. Mui trying to stall the point for as long as possible, now less than 100 health. Oh, he will be immediately be eliminated with the Pulse Bomb. The Rampage, all they have to do is win a single fight, and they'll be able to make this look a lot better for themselves. The Shatter is ready from Kymix. If he can land this Shatter, he can flip a fight in his team's favor very, very quickly. Sarkweek does transform into the Doomfist, and the other Doom does make it out from the Dallas Pride, but Sarkweek immediately losing that. He just takes too much damage to sustain it. Things are not looking good for him. Sarkweek drops to less than 100 health. Things are going to get sloppy here. The Pulse Bomb and the Primal Rage are ready. The Nano Boost does connect through onto Derpy. The McCree rolling off the map and killing himself. That is a very unfortunate thing to see for the Dallas Pride as they're getting so close to taking this into overtime, but dropping into a 5v6 like that is really not going to make things look good for them. Baguette does lose his mech and will be eliminated by the Doofus as well as Movie. It looks like the Dallas Pride may be able to flip this point back into their favor. Sarkweek eliminating Wavy. If the Rampage can pull off a miracle, things can be done here, but it's going to be difficult. If Communix does fall, things could flip back into the favor of the Rampage. Is less than 100 health, but nobody's there to put the pressure on him. There's only one person left on the point from the Rampage. It's now anybody's game. It's absolute overtime. 9-9-9-9. Can anybody touch the point at this point? Things are going to get sloppy as the Rampage are just going to have to file in one at a time in a desperate attempt to keep this point alive. They have no ultimates to expend, so they're going to have to walk in one by one. Taijinu has already fallen. The High Noon does come out from Anarchy, but he will fall to Mui. Mui being immediately eliminated by a nano-boosted Communix. The Reinhardt on the side of the Dallas Pride finds that important kill. There's only Baguette left on the point, and things do not look great for the Rampage here, but the Dallas Pride confirm that final fight into the 100 to 99 scenario. Absolutely incredible performance from all 12 of these players here. It's really been a close fight as we saw. It went from 99 to 99, and the Dallas Pride were just the slightest bit better. While they gave all that free space to the Rampage, they still ended up winning almost every single fight. And if you look all the first fallen in fights, we see they're very spread out. No one hero has been picked several times. It's just been a series of one person getting picked and instigating the fight and initiating the fight for each team. We're probably not going to see many swaps from the Rampage here, as that did almost work for them. Mui may possibly swap onto the McCree, something that we know that he's very familiar with and can utilize very comfortably in this map. The gates open, and we've got 30 seconds until the control point opens. The Rampage are going to stick with this dive combo. We are not going to see any swaps from either team. Looks like the Doomfist will be hugging around the back here, holding onto this Mega. He does see the Winston coming. Derpy is getting ready to turn that corner, but Derpy does also know that he's there. Looks like we're going to go on the trampoline as a group together, and things are going to get a little weird as everybody tries to get on this trampoline. Doom is very concerned with trying to land this punch on anybody. He uses all three of his cooldowns. He gets not even a single hit marker, which makes him a very vulnerable target. He goes to punch, almost knocks himself off the map, but does cancel the punch in time. He goes for the seismic slam and connects with none. Once again, many ultimates used, and he will fall without landing a single hit marker other than his primary fire. The Tracer has been slept from the Dallas Pride. The supports juggling him around. Oh, immediately taken out in a fantastic combo from both Malorad and Taijinu. Things looking very good for the Rampage here as they've eliminated two already. Baguette does lose that mech, but it does not matter. A single support has fallen on the side of Dallas Pride, and the Diva will fall as well. A very elongated stagger from Derpy. Communix falling literal seconds after the Rampage. Much more relentless this fight, much more willing to get things done. It proves that they know what they're doing and they're ready to fight. The teams will be resetting. The Dallas Pride having to reset the Doomfist, overextending a bit on his own off to the side. If he gets picked, that's an immediate reset for the Dallas Pride with 25% already on the point. That's basically free 30% if one of these heroes gets picked. Sarkweek looking to connect with anything here, looking to get the damage that he needs to get aggressive. He swaps out of the Doomfist and Seismic slams down, but will he be able to get any value out of this? Immediately swapping back if he can land the D-Mech. No, Sarkweek will be eliminated by Fancy 2. He cannot get the damage out in time to eliminate that mech with both supports there to constantly pocket the Diva. It was a very difficult fight for Sark to win from the beginning. Fancy 2 putting a lot of pressure here onto Derpy, but being purple is going to make it very easy for the Rampage to eliminate him if they can focus on this. The bomb is live and ready to go with four, nearly five ultimates on the side of the Dallas Pride, and only one, nearly four actually, coming from the Rampage. The Rampage get a very important pick, but Communix gets a more important pick, eliminating Taijinu from the fight very early on. Communix does fall, and the Rampage look like just ever so slightly, even with an ultimate disadvantage, they will be able to hold on to this. The bomb does come through and get, connects with 0 fighters. Again, a very early beat from the Lucio, possibly too early to really get the value he's looking for. Baguette goes for a cheeky bomb, but does not push it all the way off the edge in time. Anarchy taking Valorant out of the fight. Really not looking good for the Rampage here as they've lost 2 of their fighters. With 1 falling on the side of the Dallas Fried, things could still turn around for either team. Derpy does punch the Echoes clean out of the air with 10 seconds left on the clock. The Rampage, if they can push this into overtime, they're going to be in a very comfortable spot to win this fight. Bowie eliminating the Lucio very late in the fight, and the DMAC coming through on Baguette, but Fancy2 has been eliminated. With Communix desperately trying to keep this point alive, the Monkey will punchy if he can land as many shots as possible. He will have to get so many picks, it will have to be OWL worthy to keep this point alive for his team, but he will fall even with Baguette and the soft reset. The Echo now moving in, and the Ana will be immediately eliminated. Sarkweek not even giving her a second to breathe. A couple people on the point for the Dallas Fried, but it looks like they're really going to have to struggle here if the Rampage are simply not falling. A huge bomb comes through, but it only connects on Valorant, making this still in the favor of the Rampage. The Dallas Fried putting a lot of pressure onto the Rampage, but they just simply cannot get the kills they need. Sarkweek has swapped onto the D.Va. No ultimates live on the board. Fancy2 slept halfway out of the mech. If the mech does come out of Fancy2, it's really not going to look good. The bomb does come out from Sarkweek. He tries to throw it before it connects, before he loses that mech. It connects with the Lucio. Absolutely incredible performance, an incredibly timed bomb. It looks like he just used it because he was going to lose the transformation and not be able to use the ultimate. Another pick comes through from the Dallas Fried, and while they've been incredible at stalling this for nearly 30 seconds, possibly even longer, they're simply not going to be able to get the damage they need, and we are going to have a series. It looks like we will be moving on to map 3, 1-1. An absolutely much more ruthless presentation and performance from the Rampage. They saw what they needed to do, and they did it. They executed everything flawlessly. The stalling, the performance, the team coordination. They did not let anybody out of their sights, and nobody lived any longer than they needed to. We see Mui swap onto the Ashe and then onto the Reaper. Derby now onto the Reinhardt. A personal favorite of mine, seeing Derby on that Reinhardt. He gets insanely aggressive, and it's something that can be done to really create a lot of space on a map that's constantly small corridors like this one. Every single map, every single spot where you can go is a small hallway, and Derby with the Rein, if the bubbles come through from Baguette, things are going to be fantastic.
5, 4.
Tajidu swapping to the Moira. It looks like we're going to see a full swap from the Rampage, and nobody will be playing the same hero. The McCree possibly going to utilize that high ground. It's now a McCree v McCree, almost an exact matchup. It's a 4v4, but then there's also a swap in the tanks and the supports. More healing will come from the Rampage, but if Luft can land the boops that he's looking for, land the damage he's looking for, things will look really good. Malorad sneaking around for the boop, will not be able to connect with any. We see both teams very spread out as the Rampage are holding onto the point, but Dallas Fried are holding very high up onto the high ground, trying to utilize the high ground, but if nobody's in their sights, all they're doing is just buying the Rampage more time to cap this point. The point already open, and it looks like they will finally drop to get this point. Everybody but Anarchy. Anarchy looking to land a lot of important shots here, but not being able to do so. Sarkweek has taken out the main. It's going to be a very quick 4v6 for the Rampage, but with the McCree putting pressure on from above, things are going to get difficult. Sarkweek putting insane amounts of pressure onto the Ana. The Ana will fall. If the Reinhardt falls, it's a guaranteed push, a guaranteed team fight for the Rampage. And with an immediate pick onto Anarchy as well, that makes it a very easy 6K for the team, and with a lot more ultimate advantage and a lot more ultimate charge than the Dallas Fried. The Rampage look like they're in a very comfortable spot to push this next fight and win it as well. Fancy already almost falling less to half health. Sarkweek pushes aggressive. There's not much a Sigma can do against May. He drops to less than 150 health. Sarkweek just playing absolutely relentlessly. The wall does come up from the May on the side of the Dallas Fried. Derpy and Malorad both caught out of position. Sarkweek as well, and instead of winning the fight as predicted, it looks like the Dallas Fried will be able to flip this fight in their favor instead. The pin does connect onto Baguette. He will not be able to get out, and with the shatter ready to come from the Reinhardt, it's going to be a very easy fight to win for both teams now. Each fight just needs to win. Each team just needs to get a single pick in order to win. 28%, a quarter of the way there to win this final fight. The Rampage can still come back, but the Dallas Fried cannot be counted out for even a second yet, as they're getting a lot of damage and a lot of things done. A lot of pressure comes onto the May here. Baguette taking a nap on the job. He's tired after all those fights. He just needs to catch his sleep really quick. Catch up. Anarchy, it's a very early pick onto Mui, and the Blizzard does come through from Sarkweek. The Nano Boost connecting onto the Reinhardt, but it's not going to be enough if he does get frozen. Every single ultimate is coming out. We've seen 4 ultimates already. The Nano Boost and the Beat as well. The Blizzard and the Shadow are still ready on the side of the Dallas Fried, with the High Noon on the side from Mui on the side of the Rampage. Sarkweek falling, Communix falling, and Derpy has already fallen as well. It's a very sloppy fight from all 12 players, in all honesty here. Things are getting very aggressive, and people are just pushing, trying to get any picks that they can. Fancy2 can't focus on the target, and Baguette and Tajidu cleaning up the backline. Baguette out of mech on his own. Tajidu trying to do what needs to be done. He does successfully get back in the mech, which is making this look very not good for Fancy2. He's the last player on this. Oh, Communix has brought his way back into the fight. Fancy2 dropped into the middle. Communix will be caught out on his own as his other tank abandoned him to Shatter, not being able to come through the ultimate, not even being worth it at this point. Mui and Malorad both holding onto their ultimates. Baguette nearly to another one. Derpy halfway to the Shatter as well. It's very close. The Dallas Fried 50% on the point, while the Rampage only have 40%. The Blizzard will be ready to come from the May. If they can land the Blizzard, this fight can get very quick, but if it's eaten by Baguette, things will really not look good for the Dallas Fried here. team groups up, coordinates on the point. The wall does connect. He should have thrown there. The Blizzard, better late than never, I guess, as the Rampage had plenty of time to move out. Mui pops the high noon, but it's simply not enough. An incredible double shatter does connect from the Reinhardt, but he will confirm 0 kills and will drop to less than 0. No, he will fall as the double bomb takes out 2 on the side of the Dallas Fried. The Rampage cleaning up what should have been a lost fight as that shatter connected, but nobody was there to clean up those kills other than the Rein himself. And with 3 people staring him down, it was very difficult for him to reach forward and connect the kills that he needed. 72% for the Rampage. Things looking very good here. All they have to do is win, one more good fight, and then the panic push will come through. But we've seen the Dallas Fried are very good at stalling, and they cannot be counted out until that timer hits 100%. Derpy's going to be looking for the shatter here, as he knows very well Communix is not holding on to the same ultimate. Fancy 2 is going to get the Gravitic Flux, but if he's stunned or slept or flashbanged or anything, he will not be able to let it out. The High Noon comes out and does connect. 2 have fallen now on the side of the Rampage. The Dallas Fried getting very aggressive as they know that this is a very easy fight for them to clean up. 3 make it 4. The Rampage have lost this fight, but they have not lost the game. They have successfully ticked it into overtime. The literal last second, we heard the overtime announcement. They will not wait on it. The point is, Derpy did use that shatter, and it must not have connected with many, as I did not even see it or hear it go off. Baguette a little bit out of position on his own, but if the orb comes through, he is able to get a lot of value here. 2 ultimates from the Dallas Fried, 1 ultimate from the Rampage, nearly 2. Sarkweek falls to less than 10 health. The Ryan's caught out of position here. Sarkweek has the Blizzard. He does throw it at Taijutsu, throwing the Lighthouse, but we cannot see it from our spectator point of view here. Sarkweek does the Blizzard. It does force the Dallas Fried to move back, and the Rampage do successfully flip this back into their favor, taking 1 out as well, making this a very quick 5v6. The High Noon does come out most likely as a zoner, but no, he will pick up 1. 2 falling in this May, the only one left. She will be immediately eliminated, and it looks like the 3rd map will end in favor of the Rampage, taking this first game of the series 1-0 over the Dallas Fried. An absolute technical reverse sweep for the map from the Rampage as they lost the first map rather relentlessly. The Dallas Fried not giving them a lot of room to exist on that dive, not giving them a lot of room to play just as a team. But it looks like they were able to turn it around, and although this is on the next map, I'm sure we will be taken away from this map. This is just a lag. There it is. We are now taken into the lobby, as I'm sure lots of coaching is going to be happening. The Dallas Fried putting on some serious angry face there and getting really aggressive with the Rampage. That's the comp I think they needed to be playing. That's what I think they needed to be doing in order to get what they were looking for and get what they were looking to do. But they were not getting the value necessary to be playing those heroes. Our next map does appear to be Junkertown, and things are going to get great here. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of aggression come from either team, come from both teams. Junkertown, the first point, what I would call point 0.5, is very difficult to cap. It's getting past the choke. Under the second bridge is usually a very difficult spot where many teams have been stopped before. If the Rampage are running the offense first, which it looks like they will be, I would expect to see a very simple dive comp, as we've seen them run already. We've seen them run many games before in the past. The dive comp gets a lot done if they can confirm the kills, but if the Dallas Fried are to bust out something like Orion Zarya that have good synergy and good communication, then it's going to be very difficult for the Rampage to break those barriers and get what needs done. Malorad and Taijutsu put out an insane amount of healing in that last game, and I do think that did make a big difference on the team as well. The healing was coming out from the Dallas Fried. Not swapping off that Lucio did put them in a very difficult spot, as the beats were also thrown in very unusual times. They were put out in very unusual fights. Usually after a fight had already been won, the beat was dropped anyway. Whether it be celebratory or not, it was very risky use of that ultimate. As I mentioned, lots of coaching most likely happening right now. We are waiting for the next game to begin, and I would expect to see, as I mentioned, the dive comp come from the Rampage. And we did see the Dallas Fried very comfortable on that Ryan Diva, and I wouldn't be surprised if they ran that on both offense and defense. The Lucio looks like it may be a possible stay. If they swap onto something else, I wouldn't be surprised, as I do think that's what's better for the team. But as none of them can hear me and I cannot control what's being done, I wouldn't be surprised if they stuck on that Lucio as well. Baguette being a sub-in this evening for Andromedus, as Andromedus could not make tonight's game. Baguette making an absolute just stellar performance, great appearance coming through and being able to connect with so many huge plays coming from the Rampage. He did land a double bomb at one point, and it did seem rather cheeky, but the play style being very aggressive, Derpy playing the Winston very easily, able to follow that Diva around. And while many people run the dive comp with the Winston, quote, in the lead, end quote, it really does not matter, as both tanks, as long as they're pushing in the same direction toward the same hero, it can be cleaned up rather nicely. I wish we could see Mui on the Ashe and the McCree more often, but he is playing the necessary heroes, and Sarkweek on the May as well. As much as I love to see Sarkweek's Genji and Sarkweek's Echo, he has to play what fits best for the meta here and what fits best for the team, as playing something else, while it may be fun, may not guarantee the easiest win for the team. Junkertown is... We have seen Junkertown and maps such as Junkertown being difficult for the Rampage to win, as they often get stalled and begin to stagger themselves unknowingly on payload maps. And I would not be surprised if we were to see a similar situation happen here. But as we know, these are called scrimmages for a reason. They're not here to win. They're just here to practice and improve, myself included in my commentating. Things looking very, very good for the Rampages. They were able to turn that game around successfully, and the Dallas Fried were not giving the map up easily. They were not letting any fight be won without some serious effort coming out of the Rampage. That was by no means a sweep for either team, as everybody played very relentlessly. The only thing I think that made a big difference for the Rampage over the Dallas Fried is positioning. The Rampage constantly had their supports in the back line. Very rarely were they picked out or caught out on their own, but the Dallas Fried were never peeling for their supports quite as quickly, and many times the Ana Wavy got caught out on his own because he was just, there was no time for the team to react. I don't know if that's a communication thing for the Dallas Fried or simply just a reaction time thing, but Wavy was caught out of position much more often than Taishidu was, both of them playing Ana. And Luft, even though he did play Lucio, we did see him caught out on his own several times as well. While Malorad did fall early and did fall first for a few fights, very rarely was he caught out on his own. Malorad and Taishidu, even if they don't have the peel, they often stick very close to one another, while Wavy and Luft did not do that same thing, as Luft was in the back line a lot on that Lucio, looking for boops, looking for damage, looking for what needed to be done. And Malorad and Taishidu simply stick to the team and stick to one another, really. They're a great adhesive to one another, and a great communication comes between them, as the Brigida and the Ana, a very common strategy. I'm honestly surprised we don't see the Nanoed Brigida more often, as there's an incredible synergy between the two of them. Junkertown will be our next map. And I will not call the attacking team, as I will most likely be baited into something else in the very last second. They'll most likely pick what needs to be picked. The Rhine Sigma coming from the Dallas Fried, however, a very common strategy, yet not quite what I predicted, but the Ana Lucio staying the same. The double shield does come in handy very much for teams here, as holding underneath that bridge is much easier when you've got shields in the face of the enemy. Looks like they're going to be setting up above the point off to the right. They're going to allow a little bit of free space for the Rampage, but they're expecting to full hold very early on against the Rampage. Spawn advantage or not, as long as the Dallas Fried can play very quickly and very efficiently, things will work out nicely for them. Communix most likely looking for that early flame strike. Communix will have to go head-to-head against Derpy, as both of them are the technical main tank. Baguette and Fancy 2 in a fight of their own, the Sigma v Sigma, a very difficult thing to pull off, but we will also see a Widow v Widow, which is very uncommon these days, but Junkertown just draws out those Widow players and draws out what they love to do best, and that is simply playing Widowmaker, something we've seen that they absolutely adore and they absolutely love. The game will now begin with the doors opening. Anarchy looking for a very cheeky pick very early on, but possibly will not be able to land it. The Rampage coming off the left side, we will sit with Anarchy to see if he can land any of these shots, but with the shield coming from Derpy that early, it's going to be very difficult. Mui on the other side, the other Widowmaker, ready to put in some work as well, but Derpy falling very early, not looking very good for the Rampage. They're already going to have to move back into spawn. That get caught out of place as well, going to be an immediate takedown for him. Sarkweek, oh, he sees the Widow, he shoots, and it will be an immediate head connect, an immediate headshot, which is, if the Rampage can regroup and move forward, they'll be very... Sarkweek with another headshot, absolutely phenomenal, back-to-back headshots, taking out a third of the team. If he can land a third kill and make this a half a team versus a full team, they'll be in very good shape. He will move back. The Ana knows he's there, but cannot do much. The Ana will have to land 3 shots. Headshots do not come from the Ana. Wavy falling very low, will be taken out by Mui. Sarkweek is now taking out a third of the team on his own. He's moving very quickly. Mui moving into the back line to join Sarkweek, trying to get very early kills. Mui with another fantastic pick onto Communix. Absolutely incredible. These snipers making sure that they get these picks. Mui taking out another on his own. Absolutely performance, not on his own, but cleaning up the rest of the kills. Mui moves quickly onto the high ground. Anarchy looking for a cheeky headshot as well. If Anarchy can take out Mui and make this a very quick 5v6 for his team, things will look very good here. He does land the shot onto Circle, but it will not be a connected headshot, at least not yet. The Dallas Fried have returned, and it is now a 6v6 with Mui in the back line and Anarchy in the back line as well. Things are going to get cheeky. Everyone has to look for those headshots or they'll risk serious damage. Anarchy finding a very early connection onto Circle, but Communix and Anarchy falling as well, putting the Rampage in a 4v6 advantage. 4v5, Mui holding that background, looking not to get picked. Baguette being caught out of position by Fancy 2. Fancy 2 putting a lot of pressure onto Derpy, possibly being able to stall the cart here. The Mei in the back line putting pressure on Taishidu as well. The Blizzard does come out, possibly in an attempt to stall, and it looks like Taishidu will fall to Fancy 2 and the Mei. Derpy falling not far behind, and it looks like the Dallas Fried are able to turn a lost fight in their own favor. Malorad jumps onto the high ground. Sarkweek being caught out of position, does not make it over to the fence in time, and will be caught out by the Mei, falling very early. He does have the ultimate, as does Mui, and Baguette is not far to follow. Derpy with the supercharger and the window coming as well. The Rampage getting very ready to look at an old apocalypse. With the Blizzard coming out from Team Dallas Fried. They're really looking at an uncomfortable position as that Blizzard is their best friend here to hold on to the cart for as long as possible. But if a big Shatter or a big Gravitic Flux does come out, they will not even need the Blizzard. The Gravitic Flux will come from Baguette very soon, most likely. He will have to land it without getting stunned or eliminated. They don't have any stuns on the side other than the Rock, which will connect onto Baguette. The beat coming from left, once again, a very weird beat, but it did work out this time as the Dragons from Sark do connect and do eliminate left. The Dragon, or the beat possibly coming too early. Valoride being eliminated right away, he will get that Immortality Field out, but Fancy 2 does get enough value out of the Gravitic Flux. The Immortality Field and the Transcendence being used, not looking good if the walls cut many of them in. The May will fall to Sarkweek. With a minute and 10 seconds left on the clock, the Rampage are no longer going to have to hold these punches. They're really going to have to put 110% effort into this fight or risk being stalled at the 0.5 as I predicted. We have seen them installed in places very similar to this before. Derby pushing very aggressively forward out of the shield with the Widowmaker, getting another pick onto Malorad. Anarchy just running absolute free space in the background. It's times like this you wonder why. Oh my goodness, Anarchy getting 3 kills on his own, eliminating headshot after headshot after headshot. He does pick up 3 kills and will make the Rampage have to push back all on his own. Will he connect? No, he will miss the shot onto Mui. No, he will confirm the 4th kill onto Mui. If he gets picked, no, Taijutsu will fall before the kill can come through. The Dallas Fried looking good here, looking like the Widowmaker is what they needed to win this fight. With only 30 seconds left on the clock, the Rampage are really going to have to pull out all the final stops, all the ultimates that they have, which in this moment is not very many. They do not have the Transcendence, which is a possible must for this. You wonder in moments like this why they don't run the dive comp and get the value that they need. The May does use the Blizzard, and it looks like Derpy will be able to push himself out, but the rest of the team will not be so lucky as 2 have already fallen. 10 seconds on the clock. It looks like the Rampage may not even be able to touch as the wall does come through. No shield for Derpy. He will be able to try to touch on his own, but will be caught out of sight as Orisa has no mobility. It looks like the Horse will be able to touch onto the payload. The Shatter does come through, but only connects with 1. 2 falling. Derpy just trying to hold this point. He will not be able to do so on his own. The Gravitic Flux does come through. Derpy has fallen. The Horse has been sent to the glue factory. Communix gets taken out by Sarkweek. The Gravitic Flux coming from Fancy 2 being the slightest bit bigger. Sarkweek getting 2 kills of his own, but being taken out by Fancy 2. Fancy 2 with the final kill confirms that they needed for the team to hold, and it looks like the Rampage will be held at that 0.5 as predicted. Now the Rampage here are going to have to put on an Overwatch League worthy stall and performance on the defense in order to prove, or in order to take us to another game and keep this 1-game advantage. But just as quickly as their advantage in games did come up, it can leave just as soon. What I'm saying is basically they got that last fight, they won that last game, but that would mean nothing if the Dallas Fried are able to win this game, which is a very large possibility as they appear to be going on to the Symmetra Widow combo. A Symmetra pick being very unusual, but if they can TP bomb, no, excuse me, they will be going to the Doomfist. I will no longer talk about the Symmetra. The Doom also being just as valuable as Doomfist is a very broken character, has been since day one, and can be used to get very early picks for very little. It's a very low risk, high reward hero if you know how to play him correctly. If you jump in and use all 3 of your cooldowns, it's an immediate death sentence, but if you can control those cooldowns efficiently and get the picks you're looking for and still get back to your team in time without feeding, it's just a broken hero. The Widow is still alive, and if Anarchy can land an early shot onto the Rampage, it will be game, set, match, as winning a 5v6 will be very difficult. He snipes upward, but does not land any kills quite yet, and not even a shot yet coming from Anarchy. A pick coming from both sides, but the Rampage losing a support is much worse than the Dallas Pride losing one of their damage heroes, especially with the Widowmaker, as if the Widow can get a single kill, get that damage necessary, things will look better for the Dallas Pride. Both damage heroes from the Dallas Pride, a very quick burst of damage heroes, as you often don't get time to even react to what's happening before you're killed. The Rampage giving the Dallas Pride a lot of free spaces. They're not hugging the cart quite like I think they should be. Sarkweek immediately taking out the Doomfist, but Mui will fall to the Doom as well, and with the spawn advantage and speed advantage from the Doomfist, he will return to the fight much faster than the Widowmaker. Mui does respawn, but it will not be enough as the Doomfist has respawned as well, and most likely already back to the fight. Sarkweek connecting with a headshot onto the Lucio, but things are really not looking good for the Rampage if the Doom... Oh, the Doom is already in the back line once again and puts a lot of pressure on Taijutsu, but Taijutsu does clean up the kill. The Rampage are down, but not out quite yet. Knocked down 7 times, get up 8. They look to find the kills that they need, the value that they need from these heroes, but do not have a lot of damage to do so. The Dragons are ready from Sarkweek, but he'd have to land some serious Dragons here to push this fight. 2.5 minutes is basically 4 good fights before the Rampage can say that they won this fight. They're holding an incredible defense so far, but a single pick on any of them will crack this defense and give the Dallas Pride the win. They'll have to spend the rest of this game not getting any of them eliminated at all, and that's not looking good as Communix does move in very early. He goes to charge Derpy, but does not land as Derpy turns gold. The gold Gold Finger does come through. Communix being juggled around, but just getting more damage than being damaged. The Gravitic Flux does connect from Baguette, but will connect with Zero. They are able to clean up many, but not all quite yet. The Sigma still in the back line, but will be eliminated. Malorad falling very quickly to the Doomfist. The ultimate coming through as well. If he connects with Taijidu, no, he does not. Not yet. He will be stunned to death and will not connect any more kills. Malorad will have to run back to the point as fast as possible, possibly staying on the Baptiste simply because he needs to get that value. He needs to get that window, and the Immortality Field being an absolutely priceless addition here, an absolutely priceless ability. But with the sights coming through on Anarchy, no more secrets for the Rampage. Things are going to get difficult with a minute left on the map. Things are going to get hard for them to full hold here. The Gravitic Flux is ready as well, possibly getting ready to cause a Sig 9 and be able to push this just a little bit further. Mui falling very early. The Doomfist in the back line once again. Transcendence is forced as well as Immortality Field. Both of those being used back to back. Really not good as the Rampage are very easily being able to be eliminated now. Fancy 2 finding the pick onto Malorad. The beat now coming out from the Lucio, the first well-timed beat I've seen from this Lucio, and it looks like it's going to be just enough as the Rampage are getting the kills, but not getting the kills they need in order to hold on to this point much longer. Derpy holding on to the point all on its own. Taijidu tickling from the back, but not getting the damage necessary, and if Derpy falls, Taijidu has a very low chance, basically an impossible chance of holding on to this point on his own. We've seen Taijidu being a very aggressive Zenyatta every time he plays, and he does get a very important pick. Derpy just holding that left click, trying to get the kills necessary. Malorad does find the connection onto the Doomfist. The Baptiste versus Doomfist, you don't see Baptiste come out on top very often. The window connecting, only covering half the point. Communix being caught in an uncomfortable spot. The Doomfist 4% from the ultimate. Things not looking good here. Zarkweek does have those dragons, but may not be able to get the dragons that he needs. Fancy 2 taking out Zarkweek, but Mui taking out Wavy. Really not looking good. The connection does come through. Another one falling on the side of the Rampage, and it looks like after 3 minutes and nearly into the overtime, that the team Dallas Friday were successfully able to win this fight in their favor. Mui, the cart stalling champion, just cannot do this on his own. The dragons come from Sark from spawn and almost did just enough, but it looks like the technical win will go through to the Dallas Fried. We will see them continue the rest of the map. As mentioned, this is a scrimmage, so they will continue to play the rest of the map, even though they have already gotten the technical win. Zarkweek lands the connection onto the Anarchy, onto the Widowmaker from the Dallas Pride, but it's not going to be enough. He will have to still continue to move backwards. But things are not going to look good. He will move backwards, and it will not be enough. He will have to regroup with this team. Baguette being caught out of place. Anarchy swapping onto the Bob off the Widowmaker. What I think is a very good pick is the Widowmaker does not have quite the aggressive line of sights that she has on that first and third point. The second point here is much closer quarters. Doomfist in the Malorad backline again. Takes him out of the fight. Gravitic Flux comes through on Fancy 2. Looks like he picks up one, and oh, he will confirm the kill onto Derpy. Caught out on his own. Baguette slept mid-air. The Gravitic Flux being completely negated as he's caught in that backline. It's solo shattered as well. They're just bullying him at this point, staggering him in the back line as long as possible as the rest of his team is cleaned up. No shield in that front line. He's still not dead yet. There we go. The kill finally comes through in a Baguette. It's not often you see a Sigma staggered quite as aggressively as we just saw. Communix is going to push up aggressively into the front line. 10% out of that shatter. He's going to have to get a lot of damage to farm that shatter back. No, excuse me. He will hug back onto the point and hug his team. Try to keep this as close as possible. Dallas Fried's Wavy is hiding in the back, most likely trying to avoid being picked. Anarchy takes Mui out of the fight right away. Derpy just gives them the point for free, knowing that falling will be a death sentence, but will fall anyways on his own. Most likely going to fall. The horse will be sent to the glue factory very quickly. The pin does come through. The beat comes through. The dragons come through. Not sure why the Rampage are using their ultimates here, as they've already lost this fight rather aggressively. Until they get that Reinhardt out of the fight, they've already lost the death sentence. He cleaned up 4 of them on his own. The point will be given after a rather aggressive fight from the Dallas Pride. They're cleaning up this point with 2.5 minutes left. We're going to have to see if the Dallas Pride are able to get this to the third point, or if the Rampage can finally stop what seems to be a Rampage being taken out against them. 1 ultimate, nearly 2 coming from the Dallas Pride, 2 already live on the side of the Rampage. If Mubi can land a big pulse bomb, which he does, eliminating the Sigma, this may be the push that they needed, the kill that they needed to get more aggressive. The Doomfist will use the ultimate to run, as all of his abilities can basically be one shot, one kill. Using the ultimate to escape is never considered bad. Zarkweek on the high ground, dropping to half health. The Doom's going to put a lot of pressure on Doom. Zarkweek moving backwards. The Doom holding that high ground. The Seismic Slam coming through could eliminate 1, if not 2 players. But no, it's a punch instead. The Nano Boost does come through, but the Doomfist will have to run as he uses all of his cooldowns. He gets a series. Oh my goodness, an incredibly timed punch onto Zarkweek. We see the Doom in the back line, putting more pressure onto Malorad. The Immortality Field does come up, but Malorad drops out of the Immortality Field. A boop upward, a whip shot from Brigitte, saving the Baptiste's life, but the Baptiste still getting a lot of pressure put on him. Will fall once again to the Doom. An incredible double shatter coming from Communix. Although they got the pick in the beginning and Mui is still farming this backline, Mui, this cart stalling champion as he is known, gets eliminated again. He cannot stall on his own, and even though they did get 2 kills, they still ended up losing that fight back. Get the Sigma getting staggered again. I don't know what it is about the playstyle of the Dallas Fried, but they're able to stagger these Sigmas so often. It's amazing to see what they can do. The bomb will come through, and Bob is basically a free team when in such close quarters. The bomb does come through from Mui onto Wavy, and Anarchy's looking for these very early shots, and it looks like it's been a very close fight. Things are looking good here for both teams, but with the bomb in the back line, the double kill coming from Anarchy, the Rampage just not able to touch in time. All 3 points will come through, and while they get the technical win, they do complete all 3 points as well, which is very good for the Dallas Pride. They looked very comfortable on that map. The score now being dropped to a 1-1, basically set back to the 0-0 as neither team has basically won anything above the other. I think the absolute all-star of that map was without a doubt Anarchy on that Widowmaker. Even on the Ashe, even in those final fights, he was relentless. Pick after pick after pick. Things were really not looking good, but then he just turned it around in his favor. And while the rest of his team played very well, and the Reinhardt Communix got very aggressive as well, many of those fights could not have been won without the accuracy from Anarchy. And while the Rampage did look a little bit sloppy there and did get just staggered so often, so many times, they probably are ready to clear their heads, talk about it, start over. They're ready to begin this game all over again, see what they can do in Kings Row. They're going to look to cap that point as fast as possible and also look to get a stagger or a full hold as long as they can. While that may not have been their best game, we've seen the Rampage come back from the depths of hell and really perform with insane performances, insane communication, insane synergy. Time and time again, I cannot talk about how good the team communication comes from these players. Absolutely mind-boggling and mind-blowing to think about the fact that these players are just scattered all across the country, but yet their synergy and their communications are just unmatched, and yet just at a skill level I've not seen matched by any team up to this point. While the Dallas Fried are proving to be a very good team, they rather seem to be a good team in terms of solo performance and performing as individual players rather than a team. While Anarchy and Communix are cleaning up these team fights on their own, getting 1Ks, 2Ks, 3Ks, they're still not getting quite the same team synergy. We saw that as well as they all popped their ultimates at once. That's a mistake the Rampage very rarely make, as they discuss the ultimates to use before entering a fight, while the Dallas Fried seem to abuse a more reckless playstyle and look more for kill confirmations of just when you get your ultimate, use it. And they look to do that to get these kills early on, and while that paid off on Junkertown, that doesn't necessarily pay off on every map as we may expect. I wouldn't be surprised to see a very different play style coming from the Rampage as they saw, okay, the play style we've been using didn't work. Let's discuss what we can do better and swap and do things around. Things do get a little sloppy, as I mentioned, from the Rampage when they start losing points, when they start getting steamrolled like that. They often tend to slip in one by one and get staggered, and while that may just be a panic idea to hold on to the point for as long as possible, we've seen them come back from lost fights like that many, many times before, and while it, like I said, did not look great for them, the first round didn't necessarily look great for them either, but they did pull out from that one. They got the reverse sweep of those Oasis maps, and I would not be surprised if this is the moment we saw the Rampage really come to life, as Kings Row is a map we've seen them be incredibly relentless on and be ready for anything, really. They're completely prepared to do what needs to be done and play the heroes that need to be played, and while they don't have the best time playing these heroes, the meta not looking the greatest, they're really going to have to work toward being a more cooperative team in regards to attacking. Well, excuse me, no, they're attacking often quite good, but when their defense is cracked, it's very hard for them to come back to it and get into a defense that can be rock solid like we've seen before. Things get very difficult for the Rampage when points are capped, but the Rampage have come back from, as I mentioned, the depths of hell and really been prepared for anything that needed to be prepared for. The Dallas Fried, a team I'm not very comfortable with, but a team that we've seen be absolutely relentless in terms of just playing time and time again and getting the picks necessary. While the team, as I said, may not be very good in regards to finding what needs to be found in team synergy and team communication, their individual play styles and individual performances so far, especially as I mentioned from Communix and Anarchy, just absolutely flawless. Fancy 2 getting kills in times that you say, this looks like a lost fight for the Dallas Fried, and then Fancy 2 comes through with 2 or 3 kills, making it a very easily winning fight. Kings Row finally coming to life. It looks like we will be moving on to our third map of the evening. Kings Row, a very personal favorite map of mine, and a map that I would love to watch be played time and time again, as this is a map I know very well and a map I've always been ready to play with and against. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Widowmaker on the attack, possibly just looking for some quick shots, doing what needs to be done, but the Widowmaker on defense is where it really stands out to me. A very unusual pick. Oh, we do see the Genji Ana possibly looking for a Nano Blade here. Oh, no, excuse me, it will be the swap back to the Mei. A lot of indecisive decisions coming through. That's a great example of what I always say about the Rampage versus the Dallas Fred. The Dallas Fred discussing, oh, should I play this, should I play this, and swapping back and forth in the spawn. You don't see that from the Rampage very often. Very many maps, they say, okay, what map are we on? Kings Row offense? All right, double shield. And then they just perform that, team comp. And while many teams may not be to that level, it's a very valuable thing for teams to have, as knowing immediately what hero to play saves so much time of, oh, who should I pick, what should I do, and instead gives you more opportunity to discuss your approach and discuss what to do, identify heroes as quickly as possible. Communix, oh, it looks like we have seen a disconnect from Communix. Very unfortunate. With the game immediately starts, and with 15 seconds in, we do see an immediate disconnect from Communix, excuse me. That's a lot of letter C's there. And we will have to most likely reset as he begins. Only 15 seconds have been off the clock. And while that fight did look won for the Rampage, it, with the disconnect, it was a 5v6. That's not fair for the other team. And it looks like we are, as mentioned, resetting. So we will have to sit back through that original 45-second timer. A pain for both me commentating, because I never know what to say, and the viewer, I'm sure. But as this video has been posted, I could remind the viewer you can skip forward 45 seconds and the map will begin for you. Something unusual, though, is the Dallas Fred are appearing to be changing their team comp, which is a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit sketchy, but I guess only 15 seconds, as long as they don't pick, it doesn't seem that they're picking any exact counters or perfect counters to the enemy team. Okay, I may have spoke too soon, but we'll move past it, as they're just changing their team comp. Most likely, I mean, this is a better defensive team comp than they had before. The Mei and Torbjorn being interchangeable, not much really changed. The Torbjorn just being a weird pick, as the auto-aim turret will immediately make the Echo a lot more difficult to play. I feel that does give them a slight advantage, but as commentator, I will remain impartial. Feel free to let me know what you think, but I will remain impartial, as I don't think there's any male intent in that, rather just a better preparation for the point itself rather than the team comp, as they do not necessarily know the Rampage are going to be running the same team comp. With 45 seconds still left on the clock, we can speculate. I speculate the Rampage most likely will run a full, now that the Dallas Fred know the comp they ran, they're probably going to run through the hotel, would be my guess. On the right side, though, the immediate theater, and use the stairwell to go up and around. That's quite common, a good strategy in order to push forward and get high ground advantage very early on. But now it looks like they will still just be running in around the right side of the statue, putting a lot of pressure down, trying to pick this Torbjorn as fast as possible. Sarkweek really has to watch out for that turret. It's just a couple of shots from that turret take him out of the fight right away. A support dropping low on both sides, but no kill confirms coming through quite yet. Anarchy looking for the shots necessary, but excuse me, Baguette in the back line taking Anarchy out of the fight so early on. Now has the high ground advantage behind the enemy team, who really aren't expecting him to be there. I myself am not even sure how he got there so quickly, but he will take out another with the help of Sarkweek. An absolutely incredible flank, one you don't see from a Sigma quite often, but that was the most Andromedus-esque flank I've ever seen from a player who's not Andromedus himself. The window already live from Malorad, possibly going to be used for spacing here. Not really looking for the kills necessary, but looking to keep the enemy team off the point. Fancy 2 picking Taijidu in the hotel, not looking good. Now that gives Dallas Fred an opportunity to move forward and get the kills necessary. If they can get one more kill confirmation, it will not look too good. And there it is. There is the kill confirmation necessary. But Taijidu does take out Communix before falling, but with 4 falls on the side of the Rampage, the Dallas Fred will be able to reestablish this presence and hold on to the point just a little bit longer. The ult advantage on their side as well. Communix with the Shatter and Wavy with the Nano Boost. If those two are connected, there will be an immediate team fight win. Mui falling very, very late to that turret. Not looking good. An immediate extra 10 seconds for the Dallas Fred in this stall. 2.5 minutes left on the clock. It's absolutely still anybody's game with the Rampage. Only need one good push to push us into the extra round. Not the extra round, but onto the rest of the map. Nano comes through, as does the Shatter. The Shatter picks up one, Louis falling very quickly. A damage falling on both sides, 2 damage falling from the Dallas Fred. 2 ultimates used, but it looks like the Rampage could still turn this around. Sarkweek would have to pull off some serious plays here, and Malorad is going to fall as well. He will do the transformation, but looks like he will be not giving up this fight quite yet. The Gravitic Flex being committed to the fight as well. The charge coming through the Shatter is ready to be dropped. The 180 Shatter does connect with no one, and it's already fully held from the way. Starkweed not giving up anything, but yeah, he is grabbed into the magma here and will fall. But Mui does find a kill on both the turret and the Torbjorn. The Lucio does come flying in. The Zarya getting a lot of damage on Durfee. Durfee falling very, very low, but the shield being there just enough for him to help. The Zarya finally falling and the Rampage finally capping the point as necessary. That fight really just turning out to who can get more kills faster, as there was not a lot of coordination. There was coordination in the beginning with Starkweed and Baguette's ultimates, but then toward the end it was just get the kills you need, just press Q and hold W and get what we need to get done. We will be lucky enough to see the rest of King's Row, assuming the Rampage are not full held, but see, oh, unfortunate Dynamite. But seeing that the Dallas Pride have already moved so far back, the Rampage are getting a lot of free space and a lot of free value here. %70 on the Shatter. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it come out on this fight. He's caught out very early on the bubble coming through, dropping less than 150 health, being pulled back out. The kill confirmed from Starkweed, picking up 3 on his own very quickly, with the help of Derpy. Starkweed does clean up a lot of the Dallas Pride, getting a lot of value out of those just absolutely busted abilities. The laser and the bombs both being very, very strong abilities right now, and when comboed together can one-shot almost, or two-shot almost anybody in the game. 3 minutes left on the clock. The Rampage just holding W and trying to get kills very early to get a lot of free space. The Dallas Pride may give this point up for free, which would be a very interesting but unusual strategy. After such an aggressive first hold from the Dallas Pride, you wonder why they're holding so defensively and not really pushing as forward as they used to on Junkertown. Another Shatter coming from Communix, but he's not able to get a lot of value as Mui cleans up half of the team. The Transcendence is forced from Tajidu, but it looks like the Rampage will be able to win this fight even with the ultimate commitments. They are still up in the ult economy here. Baguette and Tajidu moving very far forward. Sargweek and Mui cleaning that fight up almost on their own with the help of Derpy, and the Transcendence from Tajidu being very, very aggressive, but working out nicely as the Rampage no longer had to worry about their health bars. Baguette 10% off that Gravitic Flux versus the Zarya, who would be his counterpart, 55% to her Graviton Surge. Well, Graviton Surge may be harder to get on the point or get off the point or just get faster. It's going to be very difficult. Anarchy swapping onto that Ashe, proving that it's worth it. Getting the kill on a Sark, a bit of damage falling on both sides. Bob coming out as well as the Gravitic Flux. Bob moving into the backline, 3 falling. Both Bobs, come out, and it looks like the Bob from Anarchy will get more value as a triple combo, a combination from the team does come through and connect. Tajidu halfway to that ultimate. Communix falling to Tajidu, getting a lot of ult charge out of that. He throws the orb onto Starkweed, but it may not be enough. No, it will be enough as Malorad is pocketing him as well. And while Starkweed should have fallen, he will commit that ultimate to the Zarya and try to get as much value as possible. He gets a lot of energy here, but with the shield that will be coming up from this Reinhardt and dropping less than 100 health, he most likely will not be able to get the Graviton Surge. And even if he does, he will get it with literal seconds left on the clock. He pushes into the shield, but will not be able to get the Graviton Surge. Starkweed playing so aggressive on that Zarya, but he said it to me himself. I've heard the words come from the bird's mouth himself. He said, when you're playing a hero and just don't have to worry about your health bar, you just get so much more aggressive as you know you're not going to die. And those, my friends, are words of wisdom within themselves. The Magma covering the entirety of the map. Tajidu using the Transcendence here, looking a little weird as he's trying to body block the Torbjorn, but it really, see, now it was necessary. It's using that Transcendence gave Fancy 2 a free Graviton Surge. Holding it against that Magma may have not been worth it. Instead, just holding it for the next fight may have been necessary. Mubi on the high ground looking to get a lot of kill confirmation. 75 to another Bob versus 25 on the Dragons from Anarchy, who swapped again. 2 minutes left on the clock. The Rampage in the ult economy advantage again, looking very good. All they have to do is get one real kill confirmation before they can consider this a 3-point win. Communix dropping very, very low. Things not looking good as he's being burst down. He's getting healed, but his shield is not. He's going to look for the Shatter here. Here it comes, connecting with appears to be 3. He will get 1 kill before having to move back. His Derpy put a lot of pressure onto him. Dropping again. The Bob will come from Mubi. It looks like right into Communix's face, takes him out, punches him in the face. Bob taking a nap after such a fantastic and quick cleanup kill, but it looks like he will put a lot of pressure down. This is the room that the Rampage needed to move forward and get the kills they were looking for. Things looking very good. The Nano boosted Torbjorn ultimate, not something you see a lot these days. The Angry Dwarf trying to get the value he needs, but the Rampage don't care. They weren't pushed that far forward. Tajidu said, oh, you're going to Molten Core? Okay, I'm going to click your head and eliminate a third of the team on his own. A very aggressive Zenyatta. The window being committed as well from Malorad. The ultimates now being null and void on both sides of the team. Tajidu dropping to 10 health, but will make it out alive. The Transcendence almost ready with no more Graviton Surge on the side of Dallas Pride. He can use it a little more liberally and get things done. where they need to be done. Things looking very, very good. As I mentioned, Fancy 2 being demeched, he will get that mech back. Sarkweek 8% off of the transformation. If he can transform onto this Reinhardt, things will look very good. As one shatter could wipe up the entirety of the Dallas Fried. He's looking for the transformation, most likely going to flank around the back. He puts pressure onto the Hanzo. It's going to be hard to get forward. If he can transform into the Reinhardt, which he will, as predicted, he can land the flinching. Nobody will be eaten. He will not land a single pick. He will be immediately burst down. Incredible focus from the Dallas Fried. They've learned if you let Sarkweek get the value he wants, he will demolish you on his own. 60% onto the Bob, 15 seconds left on the clock. The Rampage are really going to have to get a pick here. Oh, the Anarchy. Anarchy instead getting a pick for the Dallas Fried. Rampage getting a pick as well. It looks like the Rampage will successfully be able to flip this point into their favor as no ultimates can save them at this point. Baguette just cleaning up this fight. Sarkweek as well. Just a duo. 0.7 seconds left on the clock for the Rampage. Hopefully, we can see a much better offense from the Dallas Fried as compared to their last one. Excuse me, I've said that entire sentence completely. Hopefully, we can see a much better defense from the Rampage than we saw on Junkertown. Fancy 2 on the Wrecking Ball for now, but I would not be surprised if that was switched later. We do see Sarkweek on the Echo, something we're very familiar with. His strategy of mobility here, trying to get a good spot to get bombs very early in, usually flying straight up, shooting his bombs at spawn, and then immediately dropping to avoid being picked by a Widowmaker.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Excuse my silence and excuse the mic silence here. I'm having some technical difficulties on the microphone. I will be getting a new headset rather soon, so bear with me for these next couple of games as I look forward to getting a new headset. My mic hopefully stops cutting out as much. I'm not quite sure what's happening.
What are we waiting for?
The Dallas Fried getting ready. That Reaper, the Reaper May, a very common strategy on defense. Weird one to see on offense, but I'm excited to see it as Reaper is just an absolutely busted hero at close quarters, and the Rampage are playing a very close quarters team. Well, excuse me, mid to close range. Things looking very, very good here for them. The Rampage look like they're going to be holding the high ground in the back on the Mega Health Pack, but have dropped to the point already with no aggression necessary. Sarkweek with a very early kill onto Wavy. They're not looking good here. The Dallas Fried really are not. It's just a pick so quickly makes it so difficult to push forward. Both supports already down. They're going to have to just look to get out of here. Things not looking fantastic. The Dallas Fried with a much sloppier offense than we saw on Junkertown. They may not be as familiar with this map as Junkertown. No ultimates online quite yet, but the May looking to get that ultimate as quickly as possible. The first person to break that 50% barrier. The wall off is a very intelligent move here as it makes two of them out of commission entirely, but as soon as that wall falls, the Dallas Fried have now put themselves in a spot to be picked from above. Just exactly what's happening here from Baguette and Mui. You love to see it. You love to see that coordination. Another one falling to Baguette. He's relentless on this Sigma. He is not willing to let anybody get the value they want. Mui landing a headshot. Half of the team already falling. Not looking good here. They're going to have to move forward. Things kind of sloppy, in all honesty, from the Dallas Fried. The Rampage just relentless. The Dallas Fried get into the point, and then they split 3 and 3, making it very easy for them to be cleaned up. They really are going to have to stick together. And with the Lucio still not swapping, they just need more healing. They need the Moira. They even need a Baptiste at this point with the Immortality Field to get the healing they need to win these fights. They get so much damage in, but they don't have the healing to keep them alive as long as they need to be kept alive. Halfway. Almost halfway, the Zarya only 40% to the Graviton Surge. Mui's Bob just cleaning up the team. It's very difficult to commentate a game around that is this one-sided. In all honesty, no harm to the Dallas Fried. We've seen an incredible performance, but when games get this heavy in one team's favor, you're just watching a massacre at this point. It's simple enough to call it a Rampage. They're not called the Rampage for nothing. They're ready to sit here and just hold their W key and just relentlessly beat into the Dallas Fried until this match is over and their names come up as the winners. Sarkweek has the transformation. The window coming from Malorad. Tejido getting a very early pick onto the Lucio. Both supports falling from the Dallas Fried. Again, this is the third fight in a row we've seen them fall so early. If you look underneath their hero names at the top there, you'll see that Wavy has fallen twice first. He's been the first he's been the first player of a team fight to fall twice, and the Lucio's been 3. Maybe he's moving too far into the back line. Maybe he's keeping himself not around these corners as much as he needs to be. Maybe he needs to keep himself out of the line of sight. And while Communix has the Shatter, it's gonna have to be huge as there are just so many more ultimates prepared. The Nano Boost does connect. He's probably going to look for the Shatter, but the Transcendence is just going to negate so much of the Nanos. Baguette with the supports in the back line again. An absolutely incredible performance from Baguette. He's just always in the back line. Gets the triple on his own Anarchy, just trying to land these shots, but he's at 8 health. I mean, it's just, you hope, you pray, but without the ultimate coming online, without the supports, it's just, Relentless May has resorted to teabagging onto the point as he knows he's not going to win a 1v6. It's just impossible. Ultimates, the Graviton Surge, only 90%, nearly 4 minutes, and not a single Graviton Surge has come from Fancy 2. It's at times like this, maybe he should have swapped minutes ago. Maybe he should have swapped just so long ago onto like a Diva or a Ball or something that's going to get him those ultimates so much faster. The Graviton Surge is finally online, and he falls! Half the team already eliminated with 30 seconds left on the clock. We're getting into the panic push territory. It might get real cold with this Blizzard, but it's not going to be what they need. Even if Baguette's caught out of line, which he won't even be caught out yet, they're still pushing into the May. They are relentless. The Rampage are on a rampage. They are not here to hold hands. They are here to throw down the Rampage after a sloppy offense and defense on Junkertown are here to show we are not here to mess around. We had one sloppy game, but that does not define the team that we are. With 5 ultimates online from the Rampage. The beat coming out very early, but Bob is here to clean it up already. The beat is just going to be eliminated. The Blizzard does come through. It's going to get cold. Communix getting the first pick. 2 picks coming from them. Hopefully, the Dallas Pride can turn this fight around, but Bob is here to clean things up. He will finally fall, but no, the Rampage can just get the picks faster. It's all they needed. The Gravitic Flux does come through, as does the solo Graviton Surge. The Zarya just dancing on the point, but even a gun as heavy as that's not going to do the damage necessary, and the Rampage win it all with an absolutely relentless defense. You love to see it. You love to see the coordination. I cannot talk about it enough. The synergy and coordination that comes from the Rampage, to me, is unmatched. They show such an incredible performance, and it's just amazing, all things considered, that this team is just so unmatched in regards to this. We've seen so many good teams go up against the Rampage, but no one has beat them yet. They are just, in these scrims, are just relentless. Baguette with the play of the game. No surprise here, as those ultimates time and time again were just incredible, just incredibly timed. There was nothing to match them. There was no stuns on them. And while his ultimates on Junkertown were sloppy, he immediately taught himself, okay, here's what I need to do different. Here's what I'm doing wrong, and he's never made that mistake again. This does put the Rampage in a 2-1 advantage over the Dallas Pride, and I cannot wait for Game 4. Things are absolutely amazing here. And it's not every day you see games like this that, I mean, the first round was so even. It was 9-9-9-9 almost every map. And then map 2 just immediately, excuse me, map 2 also kind of close. Map 3, Junkertown, easy. Dallas Pride absolutely smoked the Rampage. But map 4, the Rampage just had the Dallas Pride dig their graves and jump in. That was probably the most relentless defense I've seen in a very, very long time. It looks like we've seen a possible disconnect from the Dallas Pride, but honestly, if that's a rage quit, I can't blame him. You never see defenses that aggressive. It's in relentless fights like that, you've really just got to kind of cross your fingers and kind of say, like, hopefully we can move forward as a team and move past that and not let that get into our mental psyches. Overwatch is just as much a mental game as it is a physical game. It's keeping your psyche in check and keeping yourself in check of regards to how am I performing as a player and a teammate is just as important as how am I playing against the enemy team. Toxicity is known in the esports community as being like a quote staple, and I can never stand that ideal, because in a team-based game such as this one, being toxic to your teammates gets you nothing. It gets you to a point in regards of like just making your teammates not want to play with you, not want to work with you, and when they don't want to work with you, you just kind of have to hope that they can win without you, or you can win without these people being toxic, because you lose the game as soon as you become toxic. Like I said, it's a mind game, and you lose the game the second you become toxic. It's always unfortunate to see, but it always does happen to one team or another. Firecracker being subbed in for the player who has left the game. A good support can really make or break a team and a team comp in an offense or a defense, so I can't wait to see what swapping Firecracker in does for the team, does for the Dallas Pride. The MVP of that game, without a doubt, and I think many of you could agree with me, would be Baguette. Just time and time again, landed how many Gravitic Fluxes that picked up 3 or 4 people. He was relentless, and Sarkweek not far behind. Unfortunately, I did not get to see a lot of what the supports were doing in that game, but I have no doubt in my mind that both Malorad and Taishidu were just not going to let it happen. They were not going to let anything be done that needed to be done. They were not going to let their teammates fall. Taishidu was some of the best accuracy I've seen on an Ana in a very long time. and he's never caught out of position. And like I said, Malarad's always there to back him up if he is. It's a constant support duo that you never see. You never see these days. You never see supports with such synergy and preparation to help one another and not just heal the rest of the team, but instead keep one another alive as well. Because arguably, and this is an opinion, so feel free to disagree in the comments, but arguably, supports are the most important heroes to have on your team, because the second you lose a support, you've pretty much lost the fight entirely. I would say it really depends on the rank you're playing, but at this rank, I would say the least valuable hero to lose on your team would most likely be a damage in a appropriate team fight. If it's a 2v2v2v2 and everybody's kind of scattered across the map, then it's whoever loses a hero first. But in these clean 6v6s, the first team to lose a support basically just has to hand the fight over. And King's Row, every single fight, if I'm not mistaken, one of the supports fell. One of the supports fell so early that it's just, you couldn't react in time. It was gravitic flux, or it was an immediate shot, or it was a sleep, or it was a charge, or it was whatever you needed to get it done. It was a stun. Like, it was whatever needed to be done was done, and they lost their support so early in every fight that you cannot push, especially King's Row first, without those supports. Hanamura, a personal favorite map of mine as well. I do not like 2CP, but this map to me, I feel, is often the most fair in regards to being a 2CP map. The Dallas Fried are going to be on defense first. The Torbjorn being busted back out, a very common pick around these times and around these days. With 10 minutes on the timer, I may have to stall for quite a while, but bear with me, folks, as I'm going to be doing my best. The Torb turret set up on the point, possibly in regards to just expect a sim TP, but that's not a comp we see the Rampage do very often. We know that's not something they're very comfortable with. The best strategy, I think, for the Dallas Fried here, especially if the Rampage comes storming in with that Reinhardt, is to hold up close. Because when you give Derpy an inch, the man takes a mile. He is ready to take the damage and do the damage that needs done and still make it out alive. Malorad and Taijutsu always there to support him, always there to keep him alive. It's exactly what they need in regards to get these fights done and get through these pushes. If Sarkweek and Mui come out with these tanks as well, or excuse me, with these damages as well, with the May Reaper, they're going to rip the Rhine and the Sigma to shreds. It'll be relentless, especially if Sarkweek lands a freeze on just one hero on the side of the Dallas Fried. They've won the fight. That's as easy as it is to play May, especially in close corridors like this. Close quarters and close corridors. The map finally beginning. I'm excited to see how the Rampage take this fight, but my best guess is going to be aggressive. Excuse me, more time being added to the clock. The Lucio most likely being used to speed boost through the choke, but if they're caught out, if the Ashe Dynamite connects, Lucio and Moira will be seriously at risk of dying. Hopefully the bubble comes through on Derpy at the right time through the charge to get him the value they're looking for and get them what needs to be done. The Flame Strike from Kaiminix on the door, but the Rampage aren't there. They're on the left side. Malorad with his team pushing forward. He has not used the amp yet. He's got the speed boost ready. It looks like they will be pushing in. Right now, the wall's already up, and the Reinhardt's already caught out of position. If they can confirm a kill this easy, it'll be such an easy cleanup for them. Derpy already 40% to the Shatter, and compared to 25%, it really puts him in the lead by a notable margin. The shield being damaged and being broken. It's going to be difficult for the Rampage to win this here. If any of them fall, Mui will fall to the Torbjorn, and Taijutsu not far to follow. The Rampage are really going to have to get out of here, but stun after stun onto Derpy gets him eliminated as well. It's not often you see the Rampage get stalled like that. Baguette finds the pick on Fancy 2, but will most likely he gets slept. He's sleeping on the job and will be very quickly taken care of. We will be sleeping with the fishes this evening, but if they can be fast enough, they can get back to the point before that hero returns. The Rampage, no, but Sarkweek did have to stagger himself very, very late. Mui being taken out by the Torb, who's frontlining. You don't see a frontlining Torbjorn every day, but he is here to show you that it is possible. He waits behind them, looking most likely to land a headshot, and here comes an unsuspecting May, but he misses the crucial shot, and Sarkweek's going to put so much pressure on him. We know Sarkweek does not miss a shot. Here comes Malorad as well. They are not letting this Torbjorn out of here alive. Malorad landing the headshot kill with that Torbjorn falling early to Rampage. This is their window. This is their time to push forward, because that turret is not going to get healed. Oh, Derpy falling very, very low. The Shatter has come online with the Lighthouse coming out. He blocks the Shatter and goes for one of his own. He will take out the Reinhardt, charging him into the wall. The Nano Boost not doing what needs to be done. The Gravitic Flux coming from Fancy 2 picking up 0 kills. The Blizzard comes out. Mui does take out Firecracker and the Rampage. It is now just anybody's game, kill after kill, taking turns, eliminating one another. Fancy 2 rushes to the point, but will he be able to get the kill he's looking for? No, he will let them get a free tick, and he will finally fall to Baguette. The Torbjorn is off the point ever so slightly, but it looks like he will be giving it up for free. No, Baguette's going to be chasing him into the unknown, into the ends of the earth. Oh, and he will get the kill. What a chase. Why he did it, no one knows, but that Torbjorn will not be getting the value he was looking for, and now, due to the 2CP changes, will not be staggered quite like we were hoping, as when the point is capped 2CP, it's an immediate pick. You respawn immediately if you're killed right before the point is capped. Baguette does have that Gravitic Flux, or excuse me, Graviton Surge, and I've got high hopes here, as with the 2 shields, but no one to eat it. The Sigma, with such a small window to eat it, it's going to be an absolutely massive Gravitic Flux. The Rampage are pushing up here. Things are going to get a little sloppy. The wall does come out from Sarkweek. Dallas Pride getting very nervous. Communix, oh, already gone. The beat comes out as well from Malorad. They're going to commit to this fight, but it looks like they may lose it. Mui sleeping in the back line will finally be noticed, dropping to 100 health. The pick from Anarchy with the Shatter and the Graviton Surge both being saved. The Lighthouse from Taijidu almost online, as well as the Death Blossom. They are going to move in. They are going to move out into the next fight. They're chasing Derby to the end of the earth as well, possibly his vengeance for that Torbjorn kill earlier, but Derby has both his supports there and is going to make it out alive. Taijidu popping the Coalescence, most likely to make them just move them back, but a very unusual thing. While Coalescence is usually just on cooldown, it's an ultimate on cooldown. It's very unusual to see them go full aggro like that and use it so early on. Baguette will most likely look for the Graviton here, as it's usually easier to hit than the Shatter, especially with both shields online. He is flanking around. Here comes a guarantee, and here comes the Graviton Surge. And any second now, there it is, a 6-man Graviton Surge with the team moving in. A triple melee kill from Malorad. Are you kidding me? Absolutely phenomenal. You don't see it like that. You don't see those ever. You see a triple melee kill from the Lucio. Most likely just the boop melee punch, but absolutely incredible. I hope somebody clips that. I hope the clips are there forever. You never see that. Fantastic coordination from the Rampage. That's the coordination I'm talking about. They didn't waste that Shatter. They didn't waste those other ultimates. It was simply the Graviton Surge and collapse. They gave the Dallas Fried no room to even move or think about what was happening. They just said, okay, you lose. That's it. Team fight over. Malorad, I've never seen that before. Absolutely incredible. Wow, you love to see it. You love to see those crazy plays, scrimmage or not. You never see plays like that, and that was an OWL play, my friends. That was a coordination of an OWL team in my eyes. They are swapping to the double shield comp like we saw from the Dallas Fried, but it's just who's going to play it better. It's if Baguette's on that Sigma, kiss your family goodbye, because you're losing. You're dying here. Baguette on that Sigma is relentless. He puts so much damage and so much effort into eliminating the supports first that the Dallas Fried have no room to move or even think. Because every single fight, it's just your supports are missing. How do you push forward without your supports? Gates are now open, and the Rampage look like they might be giving the Dallas Fried a little bit of time to move forward here. A little bit of free space, but... oh, excuse me. I'm choking. Give me just a sec. Okay, I'm back. With the pick from Anarchy very quickly onto Sarkweek, things are not looking very good for the Rampage. But if they can just get a pick back and even this out for them, they can stall just the slightest bit longer. The turret drops, turret gets dropped. Oh, very clever idea from Bowie, but I don't think the dynamite fits through that window quite like he thought it would. Oh, he does coach gun onto the high ground, but the awning boops him backwards. Very unfortunate. A very big dynamite, though. If you can get the bob here, it's a very easy way to turn this fight around. Bowie gets the damage. Sarkweek cleans him up. It's something we see at this point, something we're very familiar with. Sarkweek, I'm pretty sure, getting a 5K just then. Just cleaning up the damage. Mui lands the headshots. Sarkweek lands the cleanup. It's just a relentless strategy that they never stop doing. Fancy swapping onto the Roadhog. We're seeing a Roadhog swap and a Doomfist swap coming from Team Dallas Fried. Most likely to put a lot more pressure onto that Zenyatta. They said, oh, there's a Zenyatta? Hook him. Punch him. Easy. Get him out of here. But what they don't know is Malorad always has his eye on Taijidu, and if he's hooked or punched, Immortality Field's right there to follow. Guaranteed. Sarkweek probably going to swap onto the Reinhardt or the Doomfist here. Very common thing we see him do. Baguette just putting the damage down, done what needs to be done. He's got the ultimate, but he doesn't even need to use it. He's going to 1v1 Anarchy, and Anarchy already dropping so low. Going to be eliminated. Guarantee. Out of here. See you later. See you in 20 seconds. Now, his team has to win a 5v6 because he was caught out of line like that. He was caught out of position. 2 of them already critical health. With Baguette drops the Gravitic Flux in there. They're probably all dead. They've got nowhere to run. With 4, almost 6 ultimates on the side of the Rampage, they can just decide who presses Q this time. Someone go ahead. You know, the rest of us will hold on to him for now. Baguette moving back, looking for that Ashe. He's going to move forward again if he leaves the Ashe out of line. Now, from one Ashe to another, the Bob does connect. Immortality Field, and Mui cleans it up. Sarkweek who at this point? Sarkweek gets the transformation, but Mui just relentless. There they go. There goes the whole team. Firecracker with the tactical reset. What do you do there? You got to get out of there. Just help them not get ult charge. The Bob is ready from Anarchy, as is the Shatter from Communix. The Dallas Fried with those 2 ultimates versus 3 from the side of the Rampage. It's a winnable fight. They've just got to get more aggressive and get in there. The Lucio is absolutely the weak link here. Not the player himself, but the character in regards to not putting out the healing they need. Mui gets all this free damage because of those dynamites. 100% guaranteed every fight. 2 picks come through, as does the beat, making the Gravitic Flux essentially useless. There's no way for the Rampage to turn this fight around. If they did, I'd be shocked. Baguette taking a nap on the job. He will have to just watch as the final tick for the point does come through. He's pinned and will be eliminated. And it looks like the Rampage will have to hold on to the point for 3 minutes and 51 seconds. Basically, the Rampage have guaranteed the technical win. Even if the Dallas Fried are able to cap this point up through second point, they can't cap in 20 seconds. It's impossible. So this is another win for the Rampage. The Dallas Fried are going to be holding on to a similar strategy here, but won't be able to do quite the same thing as they don't have that Graviton Surge. 2 being caught out of place, immediate 4v6. They're going to have to run back. The Rampage just hold left click. That's all they needed to do. They used one cooldown, 1 ultimate, and that's it. That's game. Or excuse me, that's the fight. Things are looking really good. The Dallas Fried really have a lot to offer, but it's the Lucio. I've said it 100 times. I'll say it 100 times more. The Lucio's either out of place or not doing the healing necessary. If they swapped that Lucio out for a Baptiste or a Moira, they could have survived so many more of these team fights for so much longer. Is he really chasing that fight? 2 picks for Sarkweek at 30 health just because he wanted him. He said, you're gonna run out? No, you're not. You turn your back to Sarkweek, you're dead. It's just a guarantee at this point. Dallas Fried do have the 2 ultimates, almost 3, with another beat. Very quickly charged beat, might I add, but maybe the Lucio getting that damage and farming the beat isn't worth it because his team's never alive long enough for him to use it. Mui does have the Bob and will most likely save it to stall point if it comes down to that. Fancy 2 just kind of stares at the dynamite, lets it happen, but if he lands the ultimate and can push them off the high ground, it could be huge. Here comes the ultimate as predicted. Derpy making a fool's errand, running the fool's errand of turning gold, absorbing as many bullets as possible. Oh my goodness, the Transcendence ends literally the same frame he hits the wall, just barely keeping him alive. Baguette putting a lot of pressure down. The hook is missed. He's going to have to get out of there. He's dropped to 20 health, but after this, he's guaranteed dead. 1 alternate fire, 1 shot from Fancy 2, and he's out of there. Oh, a clean headshot from Mui, and Taijidu with the follow-up. Fancy 2 not making it out of there alive. Sarkweek did swap onto the Reinhardt, but didn't get the value necessary because the team fight had already been won. Basically 4 ultimates from the Dallas Fried and basically 4 ultimates from the Rampage as well. If the Shatter is blocked, if Bob is knocked off point, the Dallas Fried have kissed this point goodbye. They've got 1 more, maybe 2 more good tries before this point is put down. Mui moves to the high ground, but Anarchy is not going to give it to him for free. The Bob will run down. Oh, but he will hit the wall and get no value. The Bob being wasted this early into the fight, really not good. Beat coming out as well, but is that what they needed to win this fight? 1 tank falling from both sides. 3 falling from the Rampage. That may have been exactly what they needed. The Beat getting lucky here, keeping them alive just long enough. The Meteor Strike onto the Supercharger will most likely take it out. Yes, as predicted. And Derpy will most likely fall as well. The pull from Derpy actually keeping the Doomfist in the air longer than he needed to be, getting more damage out. He goes for the punch. Perfectly timed punch from the Doomfist onto Malrad. Taijidu most likely not far behind. The Gravitic Flux coming from Baguette cannot save Taijidu as he is finally eliminated. But the Rampage aren't ready to give this point up quite yet. With another Whole Hog coming from Fancy 2, things are looking good here for the Rampage. Even the Whole Hog's not enough. The Shatter connects with no one. Weirdly enough, looked like it should have connected with Baguette, but the shield must have just barely caught it. He lands the connect onto Sarkweek, but gets killed by Mui halfway through. Mui just landing shot after shot. Taijidu on cleanup crew. I love this team. I love how they just take turns. They just say, all right, who wants to kill him this time? Who wants to get a freaking 6K this time? It's amazing. You don't see coordination like this anymore. And the Dallas Fried are getting the kills they need, but the coordination, as I've said, I'm really beating the dead horse here, but the coordination isn't there. Anarchy's not going to give Mui that high ground for free, forcing him to drop. Mui now focuses off that high ground. Sarkweek around the flank. He's not going to get another ultimate. If he does, I'd be very surprised. Oh, he proves me wrong by doubling his ult charge, just like that. Maybe he can get it. Maybe I was wrong. You know, I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. No, Sarkweek may fall instead. 35 health, but he's just hanging out on point. Nobody's focusing him. That's what I'm talking about. The coordination from the Dallas Fried is get kills, but they never talk about who. And with 2 falling, 3 on the side of the Dallas Fried, Firecracker's been popped, just like the name implies, and it looks like that's another clean fight, a 2-1 win for the Rampage, giving them the technical win of the evening. Again, I apologize for the microphone errors and the screen error just there. My microphone's freaking out on me a little bit, as mentioned. I'm trying to get it fixed as fast as I can. I often don't realize I'm not talking until I realize the microphone's not picking up my voice anymore, so please bear with me as we continue to do that. The MVP of that round, in my eyes, Malorad. Just for the Lucio. Just for the melee. That's it. I have no other reason. The six-man Graviton Surge, also cool. But you see those all the time. Lucio triple melee kill? You don't see those. So I give it to him, for sure. I've never seen a Lucio play a happier song than Malorad eliminating half of a team with his fist. Our next map, possibly our final map of the evening, is going to be Ilios, a control point. We're all very familiar with it. A favorite map of mine, but also a least favorite map of mine, as I love Ilios well. It's the only map you see with a giant hole in the middle that can kill you. But then you look at Ilios Ruins, and you're kind of like, oh, okay. Ilios Ruins, I think it's a sloppy map. I think it's boring. There's very little area to get like high value kills or very cool kills. So you always have to struggle about getting the kills necessary and getting what you need to do done without styling, which is always unfortunate because a large part of this game is styling on the enemy team. It looks like our first map will be, as I said, my favorite of the 3, Ilios well. Most common picks on this map. Let's see. Pharah, Roadhog, Orisa, Lucio. I think that's kind of it. Of course, and Wrecking Ball as well. I think that's kind of like the main ones because everybody's going for the boops. This is the style map. This is where you get your highlights, you know? But the Rampage aren't here for highlights. They've got plenty already. The Rampage are here to win. And they're going to go back to that dive comp they know and love. The dive comp is something we've seen them run 100 times, and I'm sure we'll see them run it 100 more, possibly 1,000 more, because it works, you know? Sometimes it's sloppy, but they never quit. They're always there. They always do what needs to be done. We see a huge, not a single player being played on both teams. Oh, spoke too soon. Thanks, guys. We'll call that the Caster's Curse as Movie swaps to the McCree. It's going to be a Brigitte Ana versus a Baptiste Lucio. Staying on to the Lucio for this map may be okay, but the fact that Lucio's been one-tricking the entire time cannot be good for the team, as a one-trick severely limits what heroes and team comps they can and cannot play. Sarkwick on the Echo is going to have very little, actually going to have lots of competition, as the McCree and the Baptiste and the Torbjorn, as well as Torbjorn's turret, are going to be getting really aggressive here. Derpy immediately looking for that very early flank. Baguette just being freaking brawled on. We see that they're very spread out. Everyone, so Baguette and Derpy are in the back line and will most likely pounce onto the supports if they can get the kills necessary. Everybody moves onto the mini. The shield being protected by the turret, but Baguette is kind of just hanging out there, shooting the turret to death. Oh, there it goes. Nobody's there to contest him. Baguette in the back line, 20% to a bomb already. Excuse me, 25%. He falls into the whoa, but he makes it out. Whoo! Heart skipped a beat. Made me a little spooked there. I thought we were going to see him kill himself, but it's alright. He did make it out. Sarkwick already with the transformation. Are you kidding me? But Firecracker with the window to match. Sarkwick, oh, and he's killed, and he will not get the transformation in time back into the Echo, so he cannot fly out. Communic somehow getting the kill. Must have come through a little bit after the hook. The window comes from Firecracker. He looks for kills here, but he can't extend too far forward as he's then getting himself. He's then going to get himself killed. The point has been live for what, nearly a minute, and yet no one has capped it. But it looks like the Dallas Fried will be able to get the first point cap and put themselves in the good favor. Anarchy does eliminate Baguette, putting him in a very uncomfortable spot, as the Rampage will either now have to wait for the Diva to reset or farm the mech, as she is already 50% back to the mech. He could possibly get the mecha very quickly, but that's giving a near 20%, if not more, to the Dallas Fried just because of the D-mech and the poor placement. He does eliminate the turret out of mech, which is always fun. You love to see Baby Diva do really anything, because so often they don't do anything. Malorad does get hit with the old pull hook combo. The old razzle-dazzle, as I often call it. They do commit the nano boost and the beat, coming from a lot of ultimates coming from the Dallas Fried. Basically, what I talked about earlier is, well, you've got your ultimate, go ahead. throw it out. Well, the Rampage were ready to only commit a couple of ultimates, both the bomb and the nano boost. They instead Sarkweek trying to flank around, but does not know where the skybox is. He's going to be upset that was caught on camera, but Sarkweek does unfortunately not reach the tactical reset, but we can call it a tactical reset. The Rampage do have the Primal Rage, and if Derpy can flank all the way around, he may be able to punch as many into the well as he can before he's noticed. I don't think he's been spotted quite yet, and in that backline, oh, the turret will possibly give away his location. No, Fancy 2 does know he's there and is going to look for the hook, but will not be able to lend. No, will give up on him. Okay, very unusual strategies. Fancy 2 would win that fight, or at least force the Primal Rage, which would be huge for his team. Derpy dropping to almost half health is going to have to pop that Primal Rage before he dies, or things are not going to look good for his team. Malarad's already died. If he can land the confirmation, he will land the confirmation onto Firecracker. And the ultimate does come from Sarkweek as well. The Roadhog, 3 tanks coming from the Rampage here. He does have to focus on the supercharger. He's been zoned out enough to where Primal Rage does not get the value necessary. The shield dropped onto the turret, so the turret cannot get the value. Derpy dropping less than half health. The point is still almost ticking into overtime. The Rampage not even getting a percent on the point quite yet, and it looks like they will not be able to. As the Dallas Fried have finally come back to life and are ready to take this fight to the final reaches, they will complete map 1 in the lead unless the Rampage can, unless Malarad can somehow get just a 6v1 here and win it. It looks like this map will end in the favor of the Dallas Fried. The Torbjorn pick, I can't believe that I'm actually saying this. Oh, Anarchy with the triple. He said, this is my point. You will not get to seeing it anymore. We will be moving on to either Ilios Lighthouse or Ilios Ruins. But as I was saying, I can't believe I was just about to say it, the Torbjorn pick, not a throw pick. The Torbjorn really coming through and keeping an eye on where each hero is and alerting them every time someone goes for the flank.
Anna, have you seen my schedule?
Someone makes the basket, which is a very lucky sign for the Dallas Fried. They're going to win this map. That's what it all means. Dallas Fried moving forward with a Doomfist Widowmaker. Widowmaker being probably the most popular hero on this map as it's one straight line. There's very few line of sights where you won't get caught out by the Widowmaker. Derpy and Baguette moving very quickly into the back line, possibly looking for a pick onto the support. But Derpy being caught out of position, being immediately eliminated by the Doomfist. Anarchy taking out Sarkweek as well. It's going to be a very quick point for the Dallas Fried. They're not ready to make this an easy fight. They're ready to get the picks necessary and do what needs to be done. Tajinu falling very late in that fight. Malarad as well. The Doomfist being a fantastic pick. Dallas Fried picking the Doomfist just made it so much easier for them to push forward. And, oh, you'd like to hang on to the point? No thanks. Sarkweek in the 1v1 against the Doomfist. It's going to be closer as they both drop very low. The Doomfist will end up running, unfortunately, so Sarkweek will not be able to confirm the kill. But both of them being tied in ultimate charge. The nade coming through onto the Doomfist. He will have to run as he cannot be healed for nearly 10 seconds. Excuse me, 4 seconds. He does boop himself upward, but did not have the momentum to jump all the way onto the top of the block. Oh, he finds it very quickly. He boops Baguette off the map, but the boosters will most likely, yes, they will bring Baguette back onto the map. But the puncher recharges just a bit faster. There he goes again. No, Baguette, there he comes again. It was just a time versus time. Oh, and Mui finds the pick from the side onto the Doomfist. Sarkweek taking out Reinhardt as well. Things not looking good for the Dallas Fried. But instead, the Rampage are ready to kind of come back to life on this and take this point here. Fancy 2 does have the bomb and may use it, but I doubt he's going to as he needs to get out of this point as quickly as possible. Sarkweek does take out Anarchy, putting the Rampage in a very comfortable spot. They are almost halfway to the point. The bomb's landing on the Doomfist, but not looking good. The Rampage do flip the point in their favor for the first time this game so far. This Ilios, they got 0% on Ilios well, but they're finally able to get some percentages on this map. Baguette caught a little bit out of place, but the Doomfist falling makes it a lot easier for him to be up there. Louis putting a lot of pressure onto the Doom, making it very difficult for him to get any value. The eyes do come, no more secrets for the Rampages. The Dallas Fried know where they are everywhere. He flies in, he ults. The nano boost coming through as well. Sarkweek swapping onto the Doomfist from one Doom to the next. The ultimate's coming through. Here it comes. He does fall onto the supports, confirms 0 kills, moves into the backline. If he can confirm the kill on the Widowmaker, that will look very good for the team. But he's missing all of his cooldowns. The headshot is landed onto him, and he will be transformed back into the Echo. Will he be able to make it alive? No, he slept midair. Oh, that's not looking good for Sarkweek. He's swapping out to Derpy. Oh, Derpy gets a very early kill on the Firecracker. Also, Sarkweek did somehow make it out alive. Derpy's not here to screw around. Derpy's here to clean up the entire enemy team. Sarkweek's taking the map, or not. Derpy is not ready to give this map up quite yet. They will take the lead for the map, putting them halfway there. Well, Sarkwick has finally been eliminated. Malorad takes out Fancy 2, making it an official team win for the Rampage. They only have to win, I would say, probably 2 more good fights. They've got about 40 seconds before this map is over. Really not looking great here for either team, but it's whichever team lands these ultimates first. Well, the Rampage do have the ultimate advantage. We have seen that the Dallas Pride are a little bit more comfortable. Communix stunned out of the ultimate by Mui. The Shatter completely wasted. Where did the Shatter go? It's just gone. The High Noon coming from Mui as well. Most likely as a zoner, he will pick up 0 kills. The Echo swap does prove to be worth it from the Dallas Pride as he cleans up 2 kills in the backline. Both damaged heroes falling for the Rampage with 15% left on the map, and the bomb coming through from Baguette. Can it confirm anything? Yes, it does. No, excuse me. Fancy 2 bombs takes out Baguette. That was my mistake. I thought instead that it was Baguette's bomb, but no, Fancy 2 is cleaning up the front line. He is relentless. He's not here to screw around. This is going to be an easy win for him. You love to see it. You love to see aggression like this. You love to see performances like this. Is 50%. While the Rampage are 1 fight away, it's quite easy for the Dallas Pride to hold them off. We saw them hold them for 50% before, and with a kill like that so early on, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it again. The Dallas Pride finally kicking to life. I don't know what was happening those last games, but they're here to fight, and they're here to stay. They're here to show, oh, we lost a couple maps. We don't care. We're here to win this one. It's all about the map you're playing, not the maps you've played. The most important part about Ilios Ruins is there's very little high ground. This map is all about high ground and positioning, but when there's no high ground... Oh, a huge shatter comes from Derpy, but he's not able to capitalize on it as his health drops so low. The beat being forced out, and the sights, and the nano boost, all the ultimates being forced out onto the Dallas Pride. The beat coming out from Malorad as well. Mui being chased down by Communix. Mui looking to get a lot of shots. If he can get this high noon out, he can zone the enemy team off the point and confirm this for his team. Communix is 4 off. Anarchy getting a very early pick onto Tajidu. If the Shatter does connect here, it's not going to look good for the Rampage. No, instead he charges into the back line but gets countercharged. Derby falling very low. The bomb comes out. Anarchy gets another kill, and it looks like they will be able to clean up the second map, giving the tactical win. No, excuse me, it's not over quite yet. The Lucio sings a song, but it's the saddest song I've ever heard as the overtime timer ticks down, and the Dallas Pride win yet another map, giving them the technical win for the map, putting them at a 2-3 loss against the Rampage. We will still move on to map 3. As mentioned, this is, however, a scrimmage, so we will be playing all of the maps available. We will be moving on to Ilios Lighthouse, a map where a dive comp is very popular, but so is the Rhine Diva comp. This is really a comp where you can play wherever you'd like in the state Overwatch is currently in. Things are looking good. You can basically play whatever heroes you'd like and still have a good time. Anarchy on the Soldier, and I hope it stays that way because so rarely do you see Soldier these days. It's something that you don't get to see very often, and it's currently the only difference between the teams. You always hate to see mirror matchups because in a mirror matchup, it's just whatever team can play it a little bit better wins the map. But when you swap, when you play the heroes you're comfortable with, you've got a much higher chance of winning. The teams have been ready, and Mui will swap onto the Tracer. We will not be seeing a mirror match at all as the damage is now different. Even more different. And with a minute added onto the clock with literally a second left, the Rampage are going to use this time to decide, no, we're going to switch to that dive comp. We're going to give this Reinhardt a run for his money. And if the Monkey can land a huge Primal Rage, things will look really good for the Rampage. I'm sure lots of team comp discussing is happening at this moment, and the gates are going to come open. We will watch the approach strategies of each team and see who gets to the point faster and which method they chose to take. It looks like the Rampage will be heading straight down the middle, as will the enemy team here. They're looking just to be high in the sky. Both these Echoes are putting a lot of pressure on the enemy team. Sarkwick rotating toward the point, but the Soldier already having the high ground, and Sarkwick falling so low, being immediately eliminated. It's an Echo v Echo, and he's not ready to give this up quite yet. Oh, with both Echoes falling, it's now a 5v5. The same hero missing is looking great for either team. It's now they just need to get one more pick, make it look good, put on a show here. Tajidu looking out for Malorad, and Malorad returning the favor. The teams are falling very low. Mui putting a lot of pressure onto Firecracker here. And Communix being caught out as well by Derpy. With that shield being down, the healing does not come through onto the tanks quite yet. Huge bombs coming through from Sarkwick as he has returned to the fight. 60% onto Baguette here, onto the bomb. He's got to put a lot more pressure on that Soldier. He's getting a lot of free value here. Tajidu not quite halfway to the bomb, but things are looking quite good. Things are looking awesome for both teams here. Baguette cleaning up a kill onto the Echo again. That's 2 fights in a row. The Echo's gotten such little value. He's only 36% to his ult compared to Sarkwick's 60%. Mui looking for the pulse bomb here. He cleans up another kill. He's not even going to need it as one by one, like dominoes, the enemy team falls. Things really not looking good for the Dallas Pride. 15% onto the point for the Rampage. And they've won this already. They're just here to practice now. They've won the scrimmage. Their honor is saved, but now they're just here to practice this comp. The dive comp is something they run time and time again, and it's so hit or miss. We will watch Mui move into the back line, looking for confirmation to kill confirmation onto any of these. If he can land a stick onto the enemy team, and they're putting themselves in this corridor, one stick could wipe out a third of the team, if not half the team. They will move forward, and he gets the stick, but it will only take out a McCree. Not the largest play we've seen today, but a very important play, as missing a DPS this early on will not be good, as the Echo has been focused so hard that missing your other damage hero is just practically a death sentence here for the Dallas Fried. If this Echo can land the transformation and possibly turn into the Winston, things will look a lot better. He lands the bombs, but does not get a lot of value. He chases Derpy down, but Derpy is going to be able to make it out just by that massive health pool. The damage cannot come through in time. The transformation's finally here. The bomb comes out from Baguette. Sarkweek transforms into a Reinhardt. Derpy takes Communix right off the map. The transformation from Sarkweek, he goes through the Ana, a very unusual situation here. He gets lots of kills, but Derpy, who needs it? Derpy's here for the triple. Why do you need a hammer when you've got giant fists? This monkey's not here to play around. 25% on the map, 25 seconds left in the game. The Rampage may have lost the first two, but they are not here to lose all three. We see a huge healing difference here, coming from 4,000 from Taijutsu and a mere 1,000 coming from Firecracker. Malorad may not have as much healing, but he's getting a lot of damage done, and he's making a lot of space for the team here. Oh, excuse me, that is damage, and it appears that is healing. I can never read what those mean. You'll have to forgive me. Either way, the Rampage have cleaned it up and will be taking the map 3. Things looking very, very good for the Rampage. This is something we know they're comfortable with and something we've seen them do time and time again. You got the kill you needed, walk around and clean it up. Derpy with the second triple of the game. And it looks like this map will end in a 2-1 in the favor of the Dallas Fried, but the Rampage really did come to life in that last map there. I believe we're going to have one final map this evening, a bonus map, the rare 6th map, just for giggles mostly, I believe. I may be incorrect, but Andromedus has finally been able to show up. He's finally been able to make it to the game this evening. So even in a 2-3 loss, we kind of hope the Rampage here so the evening doesn't end in a tie. I apologize again for moving the screen. I'm just trying to change the score. But Andromedus will be subbed in, most likely for Baguette, as Baguette was playing the sub for Andromedus. And our final map of the evening, our legendary bonus 6th map, will be Havana. Lots of coaching, I'm sure, happening here. We're waiting to see the swap from Andromedus and Baguette. It's inevitable. Andromedus is showing up. We got to give him some play time. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Rein Zarya coming from the Rampage here. Rein Zarya, and then also just a normal dive comp. But if they run the Rein Zarya, expect to see Mui on Widowmaker. But if Anarchy's on Widowmaker, Mui's really going to have a run for his money. We saw them go toe-to-toe. We saw a serious pissing contest on Junkertown. And while Anarchy came out on top, Mui was never really that far behind. I do think Mui's true talent in hit scan comes from his McCree and Ashe gameplay, particularly his Ashe gameplay, as I do think Bob is a better ultimate than High Noon, as High Noon is so difficult to pull off, especially at this level of performance. These people are all so high that as soon as you hear High Noon, it's get out of the way, sleep him, stun him. Same thing when you hear a Dragon Blade, sleep, stun, freeze, hack. It's anything you need to do to eliminate that ultimate as fast as possible that it's going to be done. We are going to wait. I hope we do see this legendary 6th map, but with Andromedus showing up right now, it seems almost like an inevitability to me. It seems like something that we can expect to see, because why would we change the map if we were never going to? There it is. Called it from the start. Andromedus will be swapping onto that tank role, and he's got the Wrecking Ball picture pulled up. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Wrecking Ball. It's something we're very familiar with, something we know that he loves to do and loves to play. I hope we can see lots of good things come from this. Havana being an escort map, a payload map, if you will. We did see the Dallas Fried are a little bit more comfortable on this map, Junkertown being a great example, but then you look at King's Row and the Rampage were just there to stomp from point A to point end of the map, point 3. It was really just, it was a stomp in both those maps. So it's like, this is our final payload map. Let's see who really knows it better. You know, let's see who can really get this job done. I hope to see a very good map. I hope to see all of Havana, as this is a very easy map to get stalled on. Again, we're all called point 0, point 5. You never quite make it to that first point, because if you get stalled early on, things get messy, things get sloppy. You never expect to see them, but they do. I usually go into this map fully expecting to full hold or be full held, and then if that doesn't happen, it's like, oh, what a surprise. Lots of coaching must be happening, as it has been several minutes for for life has come from either team. Here we go. It's almost as if they heard me speaking. Havana will now be underway. Our final map of the evening, our 6th map, is ready to go underway. The Rampage are going to be on defense first. So you'll have to forgive me earlier. That was damage done. Healing done was the second slot in which the Dallas Fried did have a higher score. They did have more healing, so you'll have to forgive me there. Luft finally swapping onto something that isn't a Lucio. Something I feel I've been calling for all night, and something that I was surprised had never happened, but here it is. We finally get to see that something other than the Lucio play. It's going to be, as of right now, almost a mirror match, but not quite. About half the team is the same, but Derpy on the Orisa versus a Reinhardt. We've got an Echo v Echo, a Bap v Bap, and a Zen v Zen. And a Sigma v Sigma. So things are going to get a little weird here. It's for the same heroes. Oh, it seems we did have a disconnect from Derpy on the side of the Rampage, but he may be able to return in time. It looks like we may just keep adding time to the timer until he comes back. Hopefully that is what we get to do here, so I can continue exploring Havana while I speak. It's great to have this rather than just staring at the pause screen, because it's very difficult to talk about things and keep the masses interested during a pause screen when I can instead move around and keep your brain stimulated, right? That's what a good commentator does. And things are looking really good here for both teams. The Dallas Fried absolutely came to life at the end of Ilios, or at the beginning of Ilios there, rather than at the end. It was a little sloppy for them. But I do think swapping off this Lucio could tell a great story for them, could do great things for them. And Firecracker's going back into spawn, and I swear if they make me eat my words again, I'm going to be quite embarrassed. Oh, it looks like Argon will be subbing in for Derpy. Derpy with a possible disconnect, not able to play this final game. Left onto the Lucio, or excuse me, not onto the Lucio, onto the Zenyatta with the Baptiste coming out. I'm excited to see this either way. It's not the Lucio. I'm excited to see him on anything else. The double shield comp will be coming from the Rampage. We've got 10 minutes left on the clock. I'm not sure why we haven't begun quite yet, but we will get to that moment any second now, I'm sure.
5, 4.
One team has readied, and as says the other, 5 seconds, just like that, 10 minutes ticked away. And here we go. The gates are open. The Rampage are ready to begin. A very early bomb proves to be quite lucrative for the Echo here, 10%. And now it's a pissing contest in the sky. Which Echo gets that damage first? But with Anarchy on the Hanzo, it's going to be a little bit harder for Starkweek to own the sky here. The Echo v Echo, always a very difficult thing to do. But both Echoes also having the other DPS to worry about, as we've got a hit scan and a Hanzo on the other side. 30% of the ult versus Starkweek's 15. We do see a serious ult lead here for the Dallas Fried. The pull comes, but there's no hook to follow through. They need to get as much damage as possible. The Orisa almost falling, but she will be able to make it out of the fight alive. The Rampage getting a lot of free space here, a lot of value. Everybody's falling. Nobody has died quite yet, but the Dallas Fried just keep backing up. They're ready to give this point up, or at least put up a half-decent fight before getting out of the way. They move very far back, giving the Rampage a lot of space. We saw a similar strategy on Junkertown, and they full held there. But with a pick coming from the Rampage first, things are looking good. Andromedus dodging the rock, not something you see every day. Do you love to see it? Andromedus back in his element. He's 15% away from that ultimate versus Fancy 60%. You see a serious aggression differences. Andromedus almost has that ult, and Fancy just barely passed that halfway mark. Luft does get taken out, and it looks like this first point will already go to the Rampage. We see the swap onto the ball, and I hope it's something we get to see for a while. Wrecking Ball being a personal favorite hero of mine. Anarchy picks Andromedus, but it's at no cost. He gets the shot and then is shot. You hate to see it, but Andromedus gets to come out of the early spawn. The stagger coming through onto the Echo. Argon just swapped and is now almost 50% to his ultimate. He will be able to make it out alive. Is again the biggest weakness, I think, of the Dallas Fried is they don't focus their targets nearly as much as they need to be. Luft and Firecracker can only heal so much, but when the Dallas Fried all sit there and fire at 6 different people, they're never going to confirm kills as quickly as the Rampage. Transcendence was forced, not at a great time either, because there was never really a big threat. A kill still comes through from Mui, and Bob will come through. Now, what's going to stop it? The Transcendence? I don't think so. The transformation from Starkweek as well. This is a lot of ultimates to come from the Rampage here, so they're just looking to stall here. This point here, point 1.5, very difficult. Stark connects with none, but it does not matter as it's just an ultimate that he barely had. He was just doing it because he was running out of time. The Rampage are able to turn this around, but if we do see the Gravitic Flux come from... No, 5 health. If he will be knocked out of it as predicted. No ultimate really coming through. Neither Gravitic Flux immediately picked out of the sky by Mui. As I mentioned, Mui on this Ashe is relentless. He cannot be stopped. It's something you don't really get to see often, but you get to see it sometimes, and Mui is just unstoppable in regards to this accuracy and taking hits or taking flyers out of the sky. Starkweek 30% on that ult versus 20% from the enemy Echo here. We do see the Gravitic Flux back from Andromedus, and Taijutsu has the Transcendence as well. They're both in the lead against their counterpart. This is close enough to a mirror match where it's really just who plays the hero better. Taijutsu taken out before Transcendence can be popped. Andromedus getting a lot of pressure put on him. Starkweed falling to it. Looks like, oh, excuse me. No, if he can confirm this kill onto the Zenyatta, the Rampage may be able to turn this fight around. The kill does come through, but it may have not been in enough time. Andromedus gets lots of kills, but the rest of his team has already fallen. Very unfortunate to see. He does miss the shots on the Firecracker, and it's just him and Agron on the cart. Argon will fall very early, and it will be just Andromedus. He gets staggered at 1 health. He will have to move back. Taijutsu waits for his team here. Starkweed kind of caught out of point. If he can make it out alive, which he will not, that is a 20-second penalty here for the Rampage. As Starkweed went in on his own, thought he could get out and did not. Taijutsu getting picked around the corner, thought he was safe. Echo does fall very low for the Dallas Pride, but they're not going to be able to confirm the kill that easily. Now again, we're back in that situation where it's who's going to get that kill first. A Transcendence? I thought I heard a Transcendence. I guess not. Because Transcendence is still live from Taijutsu and not quite up from Luft quite yet. Lots of alternate fires from Taijutsu. Andromedus taking out that Mortality Field. Bob coming from Mui and the Graviton Surge. But the Transcendence is here to negate that. Fancy 2 falling very early, as well as Communix. He's caught between a rock and a hard place. Argon getting a kill on Luft as well. Echo goes. This point belongs to the Rampage. They may be able to touch before the second point is capped, but the Rampage pretty much have this in the bag for themselves. Looking very, very good, looking very alive. We'd love to see such a solid performance, like I said. 77% versus 98% for these Superchargers, and Supercharger can make or break a fight, and Kami's falling less than 50 health, putting the shield up, might be able to make it out alive. He's very, very low, but no, he will be taken out by Mui. Fantastic tracking, fantastic aim. Mui does not want that Orisa getting out of there for free. He'll usually be halfway to another bomb already. Ash farming that ultimate so fast. The Rampage have so much value here. They can just keep moving forward. They don't have the spawn advantage, but they do have 3 minutes. 3 minutes is a very long time to get these ultimates, to dry push this fight and move on to the next one. Andromedus will be getting most likely moved backwards as he's not going to confirm any kills, and he's now on his own as the rest of his team is moved back. Firecracker with a phenomenal healing coming out of this Baptiste so far. Almost 10,000. The high noon comes from Anarchy. He holds it to the literal last second, and wow! What an absolute tease. He gets stuck in the pause. You hate to see it. We will have to wait for this to come back through. I don't see a disconnect. No, excuse me. We will see a disconnect from the Orisa on the side of the Dallas Fried here. Things not looking great, but hopefully he can rejoin rather quickly and we can get this show back on the road. As with 3 minutes left on the clock and 2 ultimates in the bank, almost 3, the Rampage are in a very good spot to bring this home with time left in the bank. Yes, 5 seconds left. Here we go. The timer will tick down and the high noon will come out. Will he be able to confirm any kills? He shoots. Oh, he confirms no kills as the Sigma Shield was just enough in the way to clean up the kill. The high noon was moderately wasted. Transcendence forced from Love, and it looks like the Gravitic Flux won't even be used, so it was forced for no reason. Now here comes one from Andromedus. It's going to be one Gravitic Flux after the next. Bob does clean up a kill on Anarchy. It looks like the Rampage are moving in very quickly. Fancy almost to his Gravitic Flux. Let's see if we can see 3 before this match is over. Starkweed with the double. And both supports falling. The Rampage now just have to protect the point for as long as they can. Starkweed's going to get face first into spawn here. Possibly fall for such a hubris. Yes, he will fall, but it looks like 2 minutes and 11 seconds on the clock for the Rampage. It's going to be tough to beat. It's a fantastic time for such a long map. That looks like they're going to have to really work to be able to get this done and be able to beat the Rampage and bring us to a tie for the evening. Not to give a caster's bias here, but I almost hope the Rampage can win this just because I don't want the evening to end in a tie. Nothing against the Dallas Fred or what they have to offer. It's just I would hate for 2 hours of our time to end in a tie. With 8,000 healing from Malorad and 9,000 from Firecracker, Malorad really getting a lot of healing at the end of that fight. There was at one point a 3,000 healing difference coming from Malorad and Firecracker. Firecracker being in the lead, and now it's less than 1,000, excuse me, a little over 1,000. And the most interesting thing about the healers is Luft has more healing than Taijutsu, and Taijutsu has almost as much damage as he does healing. We know Taijutsu's a very aggressive Zenyatta, so we should not be surprised he's a very aggressive Ana as well. That's why he also meshes so well on the Baptiste. He plays the heroes where he can get the damage, he can do what he wants, he can get the healing, and he can get the damage that needs done.
1.
Our final push of the evening is here with the Dallas Pride on the offense. I'm not surprised to see the Widowmaker. He's going to look for a very early pick. Will land it on the Diva, but that's not going to get him the value he's looking for. He looks around the side, expecting a possible flank from Mui on that tracer, but Mui is in fact not in the back line. Anarchy maybe swapping already. Yes, it looks like we will see this swap possibly onto Reaper or something more close damage. Oh no, an Ashe, excuse me. I expected them to get a little more aggressive with the comp they have, but I guess they'll be playing a little further back, that mid to close range. Sarkweek already a quarter of the way to his ultimate with the Echo on the enemy team. Oh, not just kidding, not too far behind, only 15% off. Sarkweek landing all those bombs will be able to take out Fancy very early on. Anarchy does land a shot onto Sarkweek, but he is able to get out of the line of sight in time. The pull comes through. Anarchy taking Mubi out of the fight very quickly. A clean headshot. That's all it takes to take a Tracer out of the fight so fast. And with a serious spawn advantage from the Dallas Pride here, the Rampage are going to have to move backwards and kind of pray the Dallas Pride don't get too cocky, because if they do, things aren't going to look good. It sounds like the Nano Boost has come through onto Argon. He's in the back line bullying Firecracker. And it looks like he may be able to pick up the kill onto Luffy as well, if he can just get back there. Excuse me, Luft as well. No, Luft will be able to confirm the kill with the help of both the Orisa and Roadhog on his team. Mui, the cart stalling master. We saw it on Junkertown. We may see it here. He just desperately tries to take away every single second and picks the kill on Luft, actually. Hasn't even gone down yet. Finally falls to Communix. The headshot finally coming through, but just in time for the rest of his team to get back to the point. It's now what I believe is a 3 or possibly a 4v5 in the favor of the Rampage if they can just get out there in time. All they have to do is get out there and get aggressive toward the Dallas Pride, and they can win this fight. The bomb does come out from Anarchy. Argon jumping on the point with Fancy 2 taking out Sarkweek. This is not going to look good. Argon already down to less than 100 health. The Primal Rage who? He pops it, is eliminated, busted. Mui does the pulse bomb, but it falls as well. Andromedus loses the mech. Excuse me, I said the Rampage could win this fight, but no, it looks like the Dallas Pride are not ready to lose quite yet. 2 minutes on the clock will be bumped up to 4.5 minutes as they clean up the Rampage with a complete TK. Complete team wipe. They're not ready to lose quite yet. Every single map for these guys has been so unbelievably close. Other than Junkertown and Kings Row, the rest of them have been so close and just nobody's really, oh, it's going to be a complete wipe for anything. Sarkweek falling to bombs, I didn't believe he was going to, but no, he did. In fact, both teams down in Echo, the 5v5 in the fairest way possible. Fancy 2 looking to kill Mui. He will connect with the headshot, taking Mui out of the fight. He is backlining quite a bit. I wouldn't be surprised to see the whole hog come out soon. We do hear the bomb come out from Anarchy as well. The hook onto Argon will probably get him killed. No, he will be able to make it back. Fancy 2 is going to have to move backwards if the bombs don't connect, but instead connect with the shield. The swap onto Roadhog, always a fascinating one. We see Sarkweek do it so often. We see a Winston v Roadhog, but it's just two Echoes in uniform. They're just in costumes. They're just pretending. He goes for the whole hog, but it's going to get kind of caught in an uncomfortable spot here. He decides, does he chase the Echo or does he go for the enemy team? He lands lots of push, 10% already onto an ultimate he just used. Luft falling, but Sarkweek does as well. Is this the push that they needed? If Sarkweek, or if Mui can get one more kill, it's going to look really good. If he can land the pulse bomb, he does throw it, but he gets no kills, not even a hit marker. As many fall, he's stalling the cart once again, something we know this man is good at. The Echo moves back, and it looks like the Rampage, with 3 minutes on the clock, are going to finally move in. Argon is here. He was behind them the entire time. I don't know how, but it wasn't enough. He gets picked, cleaned up right away. The bomb coming through. Is it going to be big? It picks up one. Communix falling, but Andromedus being taken out as well. A tank on both sides falling. The Echo goes down. This fight is now flipped in the favor. No, excuse me, it's now a 4v4. It's just taking turns getting picks on the enemy team. The Immortality Field comes from Malorite on his own as he tries to stall the point for as long as possible. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. He's taken out of the air by Anarchy. Mui swapping onto that Ashe, trying to get value, and he's going to get a lot of pressure here from Anarchy. It's basically going to be whoever gets the kill first, but Fancy 2 getting double kill. Argon just hanging out on the card. Somehow doesn't get killed. No, there comes the kill confirmation. And another one for Andromedus. It looks like 2 minutes on the clock will be bumped up to a whopping 3 minutes and 51 seconds, nearly 4 minutes. It's going to be very, very difficult for the Dallas Pride here to get what they're looking for. They're going to, if they wanted to get the technical win over the Rampage, they'd have to cap in the next minute and 30 seconds. That would be a non-stop push with 3 on the cart, which is going to be very difficult. Sarkweek does swap onto the Widowmaker, and Anarchy will probably do the same as well. Third point, Havana being a very popular spot for that decision. Fancy 2 in the front line, he's got it. Oh, Sarkweek taking out Communix very quickly. Not looking good here. No more shield means lots of free value for both Mui and Sarkweek. The double sniper comp really coming through here. The whole hog is prepared, but it looks like Fancy 2 maybe going into spawn to swap, giving up the ultimate. A little bit of a weird option here, but if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. He moves into spawn, but no, he's not swapping. He's instead coming back out. Anarchy onto that Widowmaker swap as predicted. The pissing contest continues. Sarkweek will now have pressure put on him from both the Echo and the Widow coming from the Dallas Fried. Luft takes out Mui. This is just a clean fight here. It's a 6v5 in favor of the Dallas Fried. If he lands, which he will, Anarchy takes out Sarkweek. A 4v6 in the favor of the Dallas Fried, and they'd have to cap within the next 30 seconds, which I do believe is impossible, but if they can get the 30, it will still be a fantastic fight for everyone. Andromeda's taken out. He's caught out of the line. He's caught out of sights there. He gets CC'd to death. The Echo has turned into Sigma, but is not going to ult as the ultimate will end. Moved very far forward, just trying to get that gravitic flux, but is not going to get it. It wasn't even for Argon, but Argon still gets caught out. He will get ulted, and the immortality field will be immediately shredded. Teishidu being taken out most likely as well. Teishidu eliminated by Luft. The Zenyatta v Zenyatta fight, not very easy when there's an entire Roadhog ultimate in your face. Bob comes through from Mui. That might be exactly what the Rampage needed to flip this fight in their favor. And a headshot on the Communix. Mui is not here to screw around. He's here to get these kills. He lands the body shot, forcing the Transcendence from the Zenyatta. He puts a lot of pressure in the back line. The Rampage have kind of finally reformed who they are, where they're going to stand. The elimination comes through on a Fancy 2 with 2 minutes on the clock. It looks like the Rampage have gotten the tactical win here. And Mui is going to have to give a lot of pressure, put a lot of pressure on us. Only 2 ultimates are left, but if Mui can farm another Bob for the final fight, things will look really good for the Rampage. He puts a lot of pressure onto that shield, and it's going to be a shield v shield, Sigma v Sigma. The team comp's actually almost a mirror match, but we've got an Ashe over a Hanzo, which I think is the better pick. So the Rampage should kind of be in the lead here. Also, Mui's Ashe is just unmatched. It's absolutely relentless. We haven't seen a lot of Hanzo from this guy. We've seen mostly Echo. With that, he's already 70% of the way to another ultimate. The Gravitic Flux comes through, one falling on both sides. Zenyatta falling very low, but Andromeda's cannot overextend to clean up that kill. He gets lots of shields, almost 100 shields coming from the enemy team. Luft comes in, he throws the ult fire, but it just hits shields. Only a minute left on the clock. It looks like the Rampage have got this one in the bag. Taishidu gets sniped out of the air, but the Hanzo falling immediately after, but losing a healer. Like I said, much more important than losing a damage, especially this late in the map. The spawn advantage is coming out to the Rampage, though. Malared desperately trying to keep Andromedas alive, but Andromedas walking backwards into a pillar, will not be able to get out of the line of sight in time. Will actually stop moving just long enough to make himself an easy target. No more secrets. Here come the eyes from the Dallas Fried. The Rampage only 10% off eyes of their own. It's going to be really hard for Sarkweek to get value here. He pushes up. He looks for the kill. He misses it. Bob does finally come out from Mui. 30 seconds left on the clock. Anarchy falling very, very low, but will be healed by the Baptiste. He will be eliminated by Communix as the shields were just too much. Bob could not get the value he wanted. The eyes now coming from Sarkweek instead. He goes for the cheeky play, but misses it. He's directly underneath Sarkweek. He goes to get the picks, but Sarkweek moving backwards. Argon has fallen to Fancy, and Sarkweek getting cool trick shots in the air, but cannot get the kill confirmation. 5 seconds left on the clock. Sarkweek flanking into the back line. This is a really risky thing, because if his entire team does, which they will not, Mui being immediately eliminated by Communix, but the Rampage are up quite a bit. No, excuse me. It looks like the Dallas Pride are able to flip this fight in their favor in the overtime now. They will possibly be able to flip this third point. Sarkweek not getting the kills he's looking for. The Gravitic Flux does come from Fancy 2. Sarkweek dashing onto the point, grappling onto the point just to keep it alive a little bit longer, but now they're just filing in one by one, and it looks like the Rampage will be able to lose the point to the Dallas Pride with getting the technical win. That will be the last game for the evening. Talk about close games, folks. We saw swipes, we saw wipes, we saw some of the closest games I've ever seen, but the evening will end with a 4-2 win for the Rampage. An absolutely phenomenal performance from everyone, and we love to see it. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. If you'd like to stay updated, please follow me on Twitter at Septilence or anything of the sort. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a fantastic evening.